Hello and welcome back. I am Darcy Darkness and this is Confessions from the Dark Side, and today we're here to discuss and break down Season 11. Yes, Supernatural. Welcome to Confessions from the front seat of the Impala. So let's get the disclaimer out of the way first. We are full of so much adult content that some of you may think that this is unnecessary and some of you think this is needed. If you're one of those people, then thanks for checking us out. But I will say this only once. If you can't stand it, then get the fuck out of my kitchen. Now, for everyone else who likes what we have started here, then regular scheduled programming will continue. Shall we get started? And are we ready? So, I invite you to sit back and take in Confessions from the front seat of the Impala while I break down and pull apart each episode and every episode of Season 11. What is your favourite season of Supernatural and what is your least favourite season and why? Let's do a wee Season 10 recap. Dean, truth is I am past saving. Big statement. The mark of Cain. Dean and Sam brothers in arms finally. Crowley and Rowena, unhealthy relationship, no shit. Arlene's death. Telling us that, showing us that again is like when they literally kept showing us about Bobby. It's a kick to the feels. Creedence Run through the jungle playing, showing everything, the saving, the rescues, the death, the loss, everything, including unleashing the darkness. When Dean took out Death himself and unlocked the door no one can close, or can they? Season 11 people, are we ready? Dean in the black smoke and a woman looking at him after he asks what is going on. Is this another connection to something else other than the mark of Cain? Now he's connected to this woman, the black smoke, the darkness. Sam calling out to Dean after the darkness dissipates. Sam finds him away from the Impala and the Mexican place that they took out Death in, lying face down, ass up. Nice. First words, where is the car? Not how are you okay, but where is the car? Priorities, dot family for sure at that moment in time. She saved me. The darkness saved him. Sam isn't happy, no shit, when is he ever? He wants to save Dean for once, and some random force of the universe did it instead. Oh, he is mighty angry. Who is this woman? Is she part of the darkness? Is she connected to Dean? What is she? Good? Bad? I guess we'll find out this season, won't we? New title screen is black with gold lettering and a wee blue flame. What does this represent, I wonder? Time will tell. Blue flame is a hot flame, and the woman, well, there's something mystical and hot about her. Season 11, people, let's dive in, shall we? Season 11, episode 1, Out of the Darkness and Into the Fire. This basically shows you Dean disappears from the car and she thanked Dean for setting her free. Now she feels indebted to him. She was weird. The energy about her as a focus. Locked away since the dawn of time and she isn't a talker. And Impala's stuck in a mud puddle and they're trying to get away, but again, building up to suspense there. Castiel is rabid because Rowena at the end of season 10, she had a spell from the book of the damned and she basically set that on Castiel and nothing is taking him down. And he's literally just trying to keep away from people so he doesn't kill them or attack them. Cass has realised at this point that Crowley is still alive. Again, he's like his mother, he's very resourceful. The darkness has ripped through the town, and now many others, but this shows the people being covered in thick black veins, as sexy as that sounds. It's basically down their neck and stuff. You can see them being infected or up their arm. A workman is working towards the boys because they drive into town or the closest town. They have their guns on them, but an officer shoots at them and says, "Show me some skin." And Dean asks if this is a magic might moment, which is hilarious. And she says, "Show me your throats." She's not infected, but she has to be sure. Take the hint, boys. Always check first. Sammy, are you listening? The captain of all that is gullible. They show their necks and they're okay, but she is injured. They were feral and attacking a family after the smoke, the darkness. They didn't stop terrorizing people, and then they started killing everyone. They go to a local hospital, they stitch her up, and the hospital is well derelict but in chaos, obviously. It's like a clean sweep. The darkness and everyone goes 28 days later. Dean wants to get the officer some help for us. Is it weird that it's too quiet, as this is worse than noise in situations like this? The infected are very Hulk smash. You can hear a baby crying and the infected man is banging to get into the room. It's like, it's going to hurt like a son of a bitch before Dean fixed her up. Dean says it was natural she panicked, because anybody would, even though she's a police officer. We find out she's not been a police officer for very long, but that kind of instance is not going to have like a rule book or a playbook. So terror, fear, adrenaline usually tells you to run. The job is supposed to be saving people. It sounds better on paper, doesn't it? That was Dean's response. I liked it here with you, the women in the darkness. Don't we all? Dean says he knows who she is, and she is confused that she knows nothing of this death, but she feels at peace with him. Nothing manipulative at all about that. She's connecting to him, it seems no shit. Sam is scouting out the hospital for survivors. A voice says he is dead. Sam slides his badge under the door and it's a man with a newborn and he says, "Help us, please." The baby is actually, the mother has died. I think the mother had turned from what they said when she was actually going through the labour. A woman unpacking her car gets possessed by red smoke and it's Crowley because he made an escape and then he's in this woman's body and it's hilarious the stuff that happens. He says Vanilla Spice and then turns his nose up like the decor is sent in the house. YOLO. Yeah, you only live once, right? This woman's marriage seems to be like a Christian woman and she has said like to her husband that she wanted to have a orgy or three-way or four-way with her friends basically and her husband friend or husband, and Crowley has just jumped into the body, and he's not confused, but he's like, "Oh, interesting. I've just came into like some Vanilla Spice. YOLO, you only live once." And now the hubby is on board. Well, you wouldn't expect, but the quiet religious ones are usually the ones holding all the secrets and all the sordid, as they say, thought, because you're told not to do something, I suppose. He's infected, they bled on him. It's like they're trying to make as many people infected at once. It's transmittable, and the man can feel the change happening in him as he's holding his daughter. And he knows he'll have to give up his daughter for her safety. He was attacked 3 to 4 hours ago, but apparently it takes between 4 to 6 hours before the change. Sometimes it's a bit longer, depending, because that's what actually happens to Sam. He doesn't actually. Spoiler, jumping ahead. Cass is talking to heaven and he's asking for help, as you do. For someone who actually is a part of heaven and knows that God is basically evil and God is not answering, still prays to someone, this deity that's not even there and doesn't give a fuck. Ask, I must, I confess my transgression. He save me from doing worse. Dean asks if she's okay, and Nurse One says aces. What else can you say? Dean's face says it all. Limited ammo and many, many exits. Officer, this is madness. Dean wants to take them all out and save the baby and anyone else who isn't infected. Cass is on the phone to Dean, but he knows something is up. It's gone, but he's not great. Why would I talk about the darkness? Thirsty out to sound as the phone is on speaker. Castiel is confused that the darkness is a woman, but he didn't know removing the mark would unleash the darkness. And again, the darkness is used up there as like purgatory for demons. No one knows what it's about. No one knows what it's for. No one knows really anything because that's the way God intended it, apparently, not to know anything. It's on a need to know basis, and well, no one needs to know apparently in heaven what the darkness is and why it's there, apparently. Which makes you think, is God a dickhead? Is he a douche for doing something like this? But hey, but does Metatron know? That's the thing, is he was actually right hand man to God and wrote down everything because he is the scribe of God. So who the fuck does Metacock know? Who knows? Metacock is in this season, by the way, people. You know how I feel about Metacock. He's a bit of a dick. Again, hence the name. And if you don't know, he also goes by Marv, and also his name is Metatron, but I call him Metacock. Castiel says like the more you know, the harder it is to keep the secret, which is very Pretty Little Liars, if you can remember the theme song from Pretty Little Liars, which is incredibly valid here. How Defcon screwed are we? That's a Dean thing. Castiel says it might be a long time before he sees him again. He doesn't actually tell him what's wrong with him or anything like that, so he's hiding that to again. The officer says FBI my ass, referring to the boys after that call with Cass. Crowley is in his body and his minions finally shot and he's in a woman's negligee and Tom Jones is playing, which is cringy as fuck, but yes. They ask what do we call you and Crowley's response is King. Crowley in the woman's body says I'm hot. And the minion says I believe that is the menopause. Poor Crowley having to have crappy groups, vanilla sex, with a bunch of vanilla ass people and now has to go through menopause symptoms on top of that. I haven't went through any of these symptoms. I don't want to, but I will be, no doubt, in the future. But Crowley having to go through them, poor guy. Poor Damon, poor King of Hill. Am I sympathising with the King of Hill? Yes, I am, because you know I'm all for Team Crowley. The Minion judges Crowley for not calling for help until after the orgy. What the actual fuck? Sex is sex, mate. And he needed to cross off sex with vanilla people off his bucket list when he's in a human vessel. Your point? Think Crowley apologises. He shouldn't have to, as he is the king and he can do as he pleases. Exactly. They're trying to track down Rowena because of the spell, but she is again very resourceful and has been hiding for many, many years. Finding her could be difficult. In order to get out, we have to go through. This is what Dean says to Sam. Farting sawdust. Dean, you've got the best wee lines. We love it. Sam thinks they need to change as they keep repeating everything. Kill first, question later. Do you think the boys need to change? Well, in some instances, no, but in other instances, yes, sometimes. They are half a bumper sticker right now, and whose fault is that? It's their own fault for what they did in the last episode by killing Death and bringing about the darkness and doing this. Again, they do it to themselves when you think about it. All the shit, they do it themselves. And when Sam, again, came back from hell, he said nothing. Nothing changed, nothing got worse, things still kept turning. He's said that before. So they bring it upon themselves to actually act in this way, so anything happening basically is their own fault. Well, that's what I'm taking from it anyway. Sam has unleashed his beast, the darkness, and he doesn't regret anything. He said it was all on us, not to him, not Dean, us. He is actually being accountable for once, but should he be blaming himself as he decided the ritual that would remove the mark in the first place, going behind Dean's back when Dean said he would just deal with what the mark was doing to him, is the mark of Cain? Dean wants to protect baby Amara, so the baby is weirdly isn't infected. Yet she was in her father's arms since her birth, and he managed to get infected. It doesn't sound sus at all now, does it? Because they're saying it's transmittable from fluids, breath, droplets of his saliva, kissing her, holding her, things like this would be transmittable. But he, Sam antagonises the darkness, infected. Come and get some, you sons of bitches. Yeah, that will make them follow. Yeah, it really, really will. Well, they are like Jefferson starships, super strength, super crazy, and just want to kill and infect as many people as they can. If you can remember the Jefferson starships, they were created by Lilith. Is this Heaven's version of Lilith? Who the fuck knows? They attack Sam but then stop. Her father says the baby and the infection is actually speeding up through his body, and he manages to tell them her name. Her name is Amara. Crowley isn't back in his own body. Sans menopause. Bet he's happy about that. Crowley, daddy's home when he says that. It's just, it does things. I'm not ashamed. The minions tell Crowley with the darkness about darkness and all of Hill heard, and they heard Lucifer or Michael try and warn them before it happened. The door to heaven has been moved to prevent more shit hitting the fan. Not surprised. Castiel is now in prison of sorts, but he knows he isn't going to leave, going to heaven, that's for sure. Is this the ultimate punishment for helping in the aid of releasing the darkness? Who knows? Actions have consequences, people. It's heaven. Do by far worse things than hell and purgatory. Actions have consequences, etc. Things are pitch black, and her way back is protecting Amara. Dean says that to Jenna. Sam is still in the hospital. Isolated in the town they came from. Boys are having serious feelings conversations. Sam is acting weird. Is he infected? Well, we find that out, don't we? The darkness said Dean won't hurt her because they are bound forever. They helped each other no matter where or how. They will always help each other. So they do share a connection. Should have read the fine print, boys. Will you ever learn? It seems never. Mara has a weird birthmark. The baby. What is this? I wonder. Season 2, episode 11, From the Void. This is like a two-parter because they're still in the town and they're still trying to figure out what the darkness is, and they're still trying to find a cure, basically, for this. And they're only finding a cure because, well, Sam is infected. Let's see the recap. The darkness, the aftermath of killing Death, baby Amara, their choices, the fear of what the darkness is capable of, means all of the people, not just hunting and asking questions later. Taking Jenna and Amara to safety. Will she ever be safe? And Sammy is infected but hasn't lost hope in finding a cure. Jenna takes the baby to her grandmother's house And her grandmother is Dolores from Dead Like Me, and we all love her. Brilliant. Again, Sam is infected, but he hasn't lost hope in finding a cure. Come on, it's Sammy. He's very, blames himself for everything, but it's him. A man who's infected is walking around collecting supplies, still has normal human function. Again, everybody's different, it seems. It seems that the people who were right there at first when the darkness actually escaped or was unleashed were infected first, obviously, and quicker, but it seems to have an evolution where people are not changing as quickly, and it was sped up at the start and now it's kind of slowing down, similar to again the Jefferson starships that were created by Lilith. There's flies buzzing all around, people obviously not surprised because of all the corpses. Sam is just walking around trying to find obviously a place to work to try and find a cure. Sam actually asks the guy how far it is he's gone. He gives him a pudding because that's apparently what he asks for. And he says he's confused, and the guy's actually describing what he's witnessed and people being infected. That there doesn't seem to be an actual accurate or a time frame that is the same as everybody else, which again isn't helpful when you're trying to actually find what caused it, who caused it, how to get rid of it, how to find a cure, etc. Dina is at Jenna's grandmother's, and Jenna's speaking of her past and things about her life, kind of a reflection type thing. And she says it feels safe to be there because obviously her grandmother's obviously protective, very religious woman, and knows nothing would happen to her because she would be protected by her grandmother and her faith. What can I say, chicks dig me? It's when Dean's holding the baby, Amara, and the baby's just all happy and gooey about it. She thanks Dean for everything. Her grandmother sees her wound and then she doesn't judge her, she just wants to get her in and wants to get her settled. Like she says to her, you look like poop on parade. And she hasn't slept and she's being nice about it to her granddaughter, saying that her granddaughter actually looks like shit. Granny calls the Marrow a little angel. Really? If only you actually knew. That's probably insulting to her. So we're actually in the grandmother's house and the baby is in the crib and there's a box with blocks and stuff, like toys, kids' toys, and she's crying constantly and it says, feed me. She throws the blocks. A baby, she telekinetically uses the blocks to say that. And the grandmother knows there's something wrong, so she phones the church. She brings the priest, and the priest is Crowley. Yes, Crowley. In a priest's outfit. People, hello? What the fuck? Who knew priests could be incredibly sexy? Even more sexy. And in the meantime, Sam tries to converse with the infected man, as obviously he's deteriorating from himself to the actual infection. And he says, we can smell our own. Yeah, as weird as that sound. It's a bit personal, right, mate? The guy is cynical if Sam finds a cure. Yeah, well, obviously they don't know about Sam, how once he actually sets his mind to something, he actually does it. But he's gullible and he never listens, so there's always that as well. And again, like I said, so many people change at different rates. If you are smart, put a bullet in me and then yourself. That's the advice from the infected pudding man. Cass is not able to reach Castiel. Morning, handsome. Two angels slap Castiel to wake him as he's chained up. He will kill them, and he is cursed. He's all chained up, Castiel. So if you've got a wee bit of a Castiel thing, this is probably part of the episode that you would find interesting, wouldn't you say? So Mara's doing things, like I said, like no regular baby would do. She's literally just born and she's doing things that not even a toddler would do. So they're basically, oh, you're starving me, now fucking feed me, bish. The devil's in that girl. That's what the grandmother kept saying. Who are you going to call? Granny to Jenna. Dean answers and says, Ghostbusters. Dean, when he answers the phone. But he's on his way back to Jenna's like the white knight he is. Because he is a white knight. How's Zombieland? Dean talking about the town they left. Again. Torturing Cass about the whereabouts of Metacop. Like he would know, even though technically he did help him do a bunch of things. That pretty much has brought him to this part of life. Cass challenges them to kill him instead of torturing him, and they start the torture light shines and Cass screams. Sad, sappy songs being sung by none other than the Reaper herself. She pipes through. Reaper is called Billy, and she said that the Winchester's luck was run out. She's basically saying when you die, you don't fucking come back. This is what I'm fucking telling you. You killed my fucking boss. That's it. Game over, mate. You did this. You fucked with the fucking line. You do not come back. You do not pass go and collect $200 again. You just die. You go to where you're supposed to go, and no one brings you back. There's no fucking deals or anything. Sam is unclean in the biblical sense. Is that worse than regular unclean? Like I said, her name is Billy, and she is in a few episodes this season. So when Castiel's been tortured by his own, by the way, they bring in someone else, and is this a trick? Is this them, like, because he's trying to negotiate and talk to him and stuff, like be the good cop and the other angels are the bad cop? Sam has some gnarly black veins down his neck, and they kind of look like a tattoo, and they actually suits it. It feels like Sam is in between worlds. I know he's not in the veil, but he's dying, and he knows he ain't coming back now. He is praying, asking for hope and a sign for everyone else left on Earth. That's nice that he's praying for others rather than just himself. Sam actually falls, and he ends up reliving his kind of time in hell. And we don't know if this is like the darkness that's done this to him or something else, or is this like, when he broke down the wall? Because we don't really know what the hell the darkness and the black beans infection actually can do, whether it's actually giving them, memories or false memories or hallucinations, who the fuck knows? Like a skewed fucking reality, who the hell knows? After the crazy again, the grandmother is sitting having tea with Crowley at this point, and he turns around and says, "Hello, my son, Jadine." And he's just looking at her like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know each other?" Dean was a scrumptious altar boy. What the fuck? That was rather beastly of you, Crowley, to say that by you, because altar boys are children, not adults. Castiel's been informed of the darkness, and he said he isn't lying about Metacock. Castiel has to be healed, but he is unable to. The powerful Rowena's dark magic. Crowley is working a case again. He wants to be part of Team Winchester. He always does. He's just a wee attention seeker. Alarms in heaven gone off for the darkness. No one has heard them before, but Castiel does. So there is an alarm for things that go wrong, and yet they've never been told about the darkness, so they don't know how to prepare and they don't know what the fuck to do. That's excellent work for God to do that to his people, isn't it? God help us, where is he? Don't count in it. Crowley has dodgy contacts in the Gaelic Church, again, not surprising. Father Crowley comes out to play, in the words of George Takei, "Oh my." When I thought Crowley couldn't do more for me, he says that's a priest that I wouldn't mind sexualizing. Well, how about you, audience? Crowley, I can taste the power radiating from it, from the baby. That thing is old, deep, and dark. All the things I love. I always wanted to try this. Jenna attacks her grandmother. Now, we find out the baby doesn't eat regular food. She eats soul. Jenna doesn't have a soul when she kills her gran. She just walks up to her and stabs her. It's a shame. Poor Dolores. Hello, plot twist. That's what Crowley says. You gotta love a good one. You do gotta love a good plot twist. Kath is getting off in the pain and suffering so much she has gone Hulk smash on the angels and broke out and takes the angels out with them. Battle of the Angels, good versus superior good, or what they think is good, because what they do is actually wrong. They punish people, they kill humans, the creations of their father. What the fuck? Wouldn't they go straight to hell or go somewhere else? Again, there's some plot holes in a lot of things that they actually do for the greater good and all that shit. So Castiel doesn't agree with the fact that he went rogue. You went rogue, mate. Just fucking deal with it. Sam is getting more sick. He's hallucinating about being unclean and bad, aren't we all? Sam researching. Has he come up with something liquid from a bottle and then burning a piece of gauze and putting it to his neck, and the veins have gone? It's weird that he randomly finds a cure but no one else has. Let them know we are coming, Crowley to Dean about shouting at the evil. Crowley is way more of a Daphne. Aww. Dean sees the mark in the baby and remembers that the darkness lady had the exact same mark in the exact same place, and it's like the mark of Cain, but it's slightly different again. And he had that mark, meaning that they are connected, but they're like it's like yin and yang, a lock and key, meaning Amara and the baby are dun 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 the same person. She's just become reborn into this world so that she can become probably the woman from the darkness. Drama, Crowley. Jenna again is going mental because she's not got a soul. She's a growing girl, meaning Amara needs souls to grow. So the more souls she takes, the more sustenance it is for her to grow up quicker. But she still has to stay, I think, in that version of it for a while before she actually turns, because it would obviously cause a lot of energy, or it might tire her out. So she's got to kind of charge and then change. A baby is no more but a small child. Crowley senses a disturbance in the force and takes In turn, he takes out Jenna and says he's getting bored, and Dean responds. Like he's just really shocked. Now he says he wants to meet the child eating souls. Dean tries to warn Crowley, doesn't care, it's another I have something you don't, I dare you to take it from me manipulation again, Crowley. When does that ever work out well for anyone? We already know what kind of dickish shit that Crowley does, even though we love him. But it always fucking backfires. Come on, darling, don't lie to me. Crowley talking to Dean. Crowley, I want the child, and I get what I want. Yes, Crowley, I say that on a regular basis. How about you? I am not your bloody psychic. Yes, because you get kicked out. They used and abused you, Crowley, and you're still butthurt about it. When Crowley says nice things, well, there's always have actions for consequences. When he's nice, there's a consequences to his nice actions. Want some candy, little girl? I know what I am saying. Crowley has souls for her to eat. Can you imagine what happens as she grows and she becomes more problematic when she gets into teenage years? In this world, from being locked up for eons for fuck's sake. What is Amara's plan? Who has the power to control or destroy her? How connected is Dean to her? Let's find out, shall we? Episode 3, The Bad Seed. Recap Rowena and the Dark Magic, Castiel Rabid, Amara the soul-sucking baby slash child, Dean bound to Amara, Crowley loving the deep dark power she has and how he wants her, and now he gets what he wants. Castiel fighting the spell and the torture, which will win? Castiel, help me. Rowena the mega coven anticlimactic. Rowena wants the old members of the Great Coven. She wants the old members of the coven to join her because she's the Book of the Damned, by the way, remember? So she thinks Castiel has killed Crowley, but hasn't. She casts a spell on them, and they all disintegrate when they actually turn around and say she's full of shit, basically, because Rowena apparently has said a lot of shit things in the past and it's not been true. So they don't fucking trust her. So you can imagine, do you think any of those types of witches actually trust each other? No, not even for the greater good, most likely. Kind of burns the bridge the minute you become friends with someone like that, I suppose. Dean's reliving the darkness trauma again. Poor PTSD Dean, he literally his life is basically just chaos. Not even organised chaos. Kiss her. Dean, you know you want to. Dean keeps zoning out all the time, and going to her, which is weird. It's like another thing, like she's controlling him. Amara has changed again, and Crowley says he will protect her and keep her safe from God. It was God who locked her away, apparently, and she calls him Uncle Crowley. No one wants what you're selling, Rowena. You aren't trustworthy, and literally everyone is just walking away from her and turning a blind eye to her shit. Rowena's having a stick because no one wants to stand by her side. Well, she has burned a lot of bridges over the centuries. Why is Crowley not answering Sam to Dean? Because he is a dick, and it's not breaking news. The car is crap. Castiel, yes. Sam rips the piss out of the shitty vehicle. Metacock loves waffles as much as Charlie waffles, who knows. Castiel had a seizure and is hanging like a shite at this moment. Future Amara appeals to young Amara for a pep talk, as you do. Gifts for Amara. Amara has a plan about what she will do when she is ready, and she is hungry. And she is a hungry girl. So basically, she's a soul eater, as we found out. She needs souls to grow, and they are like her sustenance, her energy. She's connected to Dean in ways that we don't know. They have the same mark as each other, the baby and her, and similar to the mark of Cain. So again, was Dean it seems to be the key to the lock to open the darkness and bring forth her to Earth. But let's find out why she actually was locked away. We will most likely find that out throughout this season. Horn again, Castiel. What the actual fortune nookie. Rowena trying to win a popularity contest again. She literally is just trying to be the head of something, yet failing. Crowley is trying to control one of the old Stings entities to control herself when she eats to savour it. She doesn't care. She wants to get to become an adult, so she's literally eating as much as she can. Nothing is safe, not even demons. She eats everybody. Everybody's soul. Everyone. Whether you're demon or human. You are getting eaten. You are very maternal, Crowley, to Dean. About the baby liking him, you love him, don't you? You want to wear him like a hat, Crowley, don't lie. We all want to join you. The air that we breathe is pure evil, Crowley to Amara. She's confused about everyone, how they would be evil, as this would be boring. Amara said that to Crowley isn't she's not, the Crow's not seen the bigger picture. She says, Uncle Crowley, I'm hungry. Now, we already found out what happened the last time she said she was hungry. Rowena says she isn't a fool to keep the book and codex beside each other, which is smart. Rowena is basically not a fool. She keeps the book beside her so no one else can get it, basically, and protects it. Dean wants the book, but Rowena doesn't want to give it up. It's not hers. It should stay with the Men of Letters. But hey, Castiel is running about like a mentalist, as he does. Unhinged, Rowena's pet name for Castiel. Again, it seems that Rowena has similar pet names for the boys as well, like Crowley does. So they kind of have that kind of similarity to her son, where she calls them things. No trust. Are we not a team? The brother's response. No. Only a team when she wants to be. It's always very one-sided. Rowena has spilled that Sam made a deal to kill Crowley, but he didn't. He went back on his deal. Witch-killing bullets. Sam points the gun to Rowena, and then she removes the curse from Castiel before he does something he cannot forgive himself or take back. Dean to the rescue. The romance can live on. Who knew you couldn't trust Rowena? Once a witch, well, always a bitch. Again, I am hungry. Just feed the damn girl, Crowley. She obviously needs it. He calls her Papa and she's demanding, saying she's hungry. She literally is always eating, which again is a typical baby thing to grow. Episode 4, The Baby. Again, it's all the stuff about the Impala and our history. This is like a wee episode of reflection, it felt like, but it wasn't really anything. It's basically given her own episode, Baby. So if you weren't aware, he calls Impala Baby. So it's all stuff about the Impala, her history of her builds. It's narrated by Chuck, remember the guy who wrote the Supernatural books, and everything about Baby's involvement in the boy's life, from when Dean went back in time to meet his dad and get him to buy the Impala in the first place, the memories they created when in the car with their father and the losses along the way. It may be an object, but it's still part of the Winchester's family. It's been through hell and back to keep them safe and the safety of others. Baby is the Winchesters. From the boys getting army men stuck in the ashtray or the heater and the aircon rattling with all these little additions with them putting Lego in all the places. From the boys throughout the years are memorable and something that connects them to not only their hunter life but their life throughout childhood. As fucked up as it was, they do have some good memories of the Impala and their dad and everything like that. When they etch their initials into the dashboard, everything is a piece of history. Dean is handcuffed face down, ass up again in the back of the Impala. 48 hours before. So Dean is soaping up Baby, cleaning her up, and Dean has cleaned every car in the bunker twice, and he has cabin fever, obviously, after everything they've been through. There's a werewolf encounter apparently in Oregon, so they're on their way. Dean is confused. There is no beer but smoothies, but there is beer but less beer, so he's like, what the fuck? You've removed beer to put smoothies in? One job to heal Dean. Then Dean to the boys, they're saying, just like a milk run, the boys just want Cass at his best and taking time out to heal after everything that has happened to him recently. Need him at full power. They tell him to watch some Netflix. Cass to Sam, what's the Netflix? We haven't missed his simple Castiel moment. Never use Swayze's name in vain. That was Dean. Brothers bonding in Impala. I feel the Impala is the cooler version of Dr. Phil for the boys. Dean is at the Roadhouse, another one. It's got a hot hunter lady Dean wants to bang and he is selling a night out. And Sam wants to find a diner and do research. Sam and Dean's version of fun is much different of the other. But I like it about both. Again, Impala is lying intact, but Dean is lying on the driver's seat and says mistakes were made, and a woman pops up from the back seat and asks, who are you? Dean responds he didn't know anyone was at the back there, and Sam introduces himself to the random girl. It's really awkward. Basically Sam ends up banging some lassie in the Impala. Dean has already had sex with Anna in the back of that fucking car, and many other women, no doubt, and no, it's just wrong, man. What the fuck? What is wrong with you two? Just, no. There's all sorts of, no. No, speeding your car for snooze now with your brother, man. It's just with random people. It's really fucking creepy. Fuck's sake. Dean exits. Dean puts on a song called Night Moves, and it's so funny. Just take it in. He mimes the song at Sam. This is ridiculous, Sam to Dean. Bonding and piss taking, we love it. The boys are laughing about work on the night moves, serenading and laughing about it. Digging into the lore is what the kids are calling it these days. Dean to Sam, referring to the fact that he just had sex with a random waitress in the back of his car. You even put a blanket down, classy and thoughtful. Sam got knocked back from giving his number out. The waitress we got tonight. Who needs tomorrow? Is everything a Bob Seger song to you? Sam to Dean, and he replies yes. Sam asks Dean, are you not wanting more? We have been through this over and over. You either leave the life or you die. That's true. And they continue to drive. Sam wakes up and sees a young John next to him and talking to him. When has death ever stopped a Winchester? Daddy douchebag says he never wanted that life for them. No, you did. Their mother didn't, but her deal to save you did. So, deal with it. Dream, vision, a message that is the same. The darkness is coming and only you boys can stop it. Sam asks for help and stop visions of dead people. Sam says, who are you? And then he wakes up. Sam is singing in his sleep his mother's favourite song. Dean has found out Sam was infected and he prayed and he saw a vision and now he had one with their father at their age. He said the dream was just a dream and their dad was telling them everything he wanted to hear, which is not daddy douchebag, Dean admits. He dreams about the normal life without hunting and their father. God isn't home, he's on vacation, and the boys do what they do to save planet Earth and humanity without heaven or God's help, and they continue to do so. The boys arrive at the case, destroyed victim, and no heart, a werepire. Oh dear, Dean, you are totally me. This case has really overly friendly sheriff. Also, the episode is based around, well, a documentary type of filming where it's been filmed by another party. Kind of got that feel about it. Someone pretending to be a valet and then she steals the Impala. Again, step away from the Netflix. Dean to Castiel. We have all had a binge, Dean to Castiel. A whisper. Dean has been told about the creature and they kill quietly. Dean is fighting one and he is a cop. So this is where he says, I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy, where he drips the piss out of that. These monsters only feed at certain times. They've seemed to have like kind of adapted to like a life in a town, but they're creating more of them because of the darkness. It's kind of like when Lilith came with the Jefferson starships, where all the alphas were creating more of their kind for like an army because they weren't sure what the fuck was going on. It's similar in this episode. Apparently, you've got to keep their bodies separate. They also don't listen to everything about that because Castiel's doing the research at the bunker and they're actually trying to figure out what the fuck they are, how to kill them, how to take them out. But they end up fucking up and not separating the body and they can come back to life. But he puts the sheriff's head in an ice box thing and it's still there. And he sends a few pictures to Castiel to show what the fangs actually really like, what they look like before. It's a ghoulpire, blood and hearts of the living or dead flesh. They need to be reminded that they are dead. You had to put the currency in the mouth of the creature and it's got to be copper and then sever the head and they will die. Lore of the creature. And also, they need a penny predating 1982. Sam says they were 95% copper, but they aren't now. And Dean says well, he irols and makes fun of what Sam does for fun because he likes facts. I like facts. Fuck off, Dean. They're a comfort. Again, the camera pans to the back of the Impala as if the Impala is documenting each encounters with the boys. If you kill the master, the OG, then everyone returns back to human. Is it ever that simple and supernatural? It seems to be on paper, but never in reality. It seems the Impala is showing the crazy sights it sees on a regular basis, including snoo in the back of the car and whatever other shit that the boys get up to behind closed doors, Impala doors in this case. The head creature is trying to recreate as many, as I said, for the battle of the darkness. He says nothing can defeat it. Again, don't they know the Winchesters? They never give up. That's the thing. The Impala's in a bad way, but Dean has his machete, but the deputy is back. Dean doing a little stomping to take it out. He also apologises to Baby for destroying her. Well, at least he's actually nice about it. Episode 5, Thin Lizzie. Recap. This is the one based around Lizzie Borden. Again, a wee bit of a filler episode, but it's also got Amara in it as well, because again, they're trying to like say that you don't have a soul if you kill, basically. So people are being killed in the hotel. The hotel is actually Lizzie Borden's actual house that they've converted into a hotel. or a guest house. No one saw anything, and Sam wants to go to the house. Of course he does. I want to go to the fucking house. Dean has Sam figured out. He's just like, you really want to go, don't you? And it's just like, aye, fuck's sake, I do. So apparently Castiel is binge watching The Wire and he isn't coming out anytime soon. Sam is not giving up Lizzie's bedroom, so Dean needs to find a new room. Sam can't stop spritzing the lavender toilet water, even though Dean asked him to. Why? He says, I just want to try and see if it's sprayed. And again, Sam reverting back to child states and Dean being the parent again. Dean apparently has grandma all over him. I think that's usually Sam, the romancer of the elderly in the show. Cougars love him and we don't even know why. They literally lust after him. They're pure thirsty. EMF is going nuts around Lizzie Borden's house. Again, I'm not surprised because Lizzie Borden, even though she wasn't proven to be guilty because they had no actual physical evidence to actually say she was guilty, she got away with murdering her father and her stepmother, but apparently her father was a bit of a dickhead towards her and her sister, and the stepmother wasn't particularly nice either from like the history. So again, she took them out, but again, no proof. And the whole episode is basically Amara comes into it and then she takes the soul from Lizzie Borden like fanatic, and then he just doesn't care about shit anymore. People start to do things in that around that town with no souls, and Dean knows that she's there because she has been doing that. But she's all grown up now. Well, she's not grown up. She's she's preteen at this moment, I would say. Preteen, and then she becomes a teenager and then an adult. So yeah. Would you want to go to Lizzie Borden's home? Definitely I would. So episode 6, Our Little World. Now, instead of a recap, teens with a curfew and they're like bitching about their parents as they do. Amara appeals to the girl who's bitching about her mum having obviously given her rules to live by, because obviously she's a teenager, not an adult, and she wants to protect her but also give her independence, but also make sure that she still goes to school, does her work and everything like that. So she feels that the teen is complaining and wants to be able to do whatever the fuck she wants, so she does. She doesn't really understand when kids or anyone, humans, are venting. That doesn't mean they want that actual thing to happen or what they think what they want to happen. It's just them venting to their friend. Crowley catches her. She stopped feeding on demons. Crowley says it's dangerous for her to be out all alone and also actions have consequences, which is true. This will hurt me more than you, and grounded her. He's stronger for right now, but not when she grows up, obviously. So he's basically trying to instill rules into someone who seems to be a rule breaker, not a abide by the rules type of person. This is what I try and work out. She does need to stay and remain an age for some time, like I said, before she can level up, or is this purely on her? Is it the souls, or is it something else? They're in Fall River, Massachusetts. The boys are FBI again. I can imagine from the suits, they're on a case. Again, teenage angst, it's best pushing boundaries, and they got to go at it alone. Castiel answers Dean's call, and there's no news on Metacock. Dean to Castiel, are you watching Jenny Jones? Jenny, he's not ready to be a father. That's what Castiel shouts in the background. He's watching reruns, apparently, of the same episodes, these favourite ones, because that's what you do when you don't want to go outside and you just want to be a hermit. Jenny, can't you see he's not ready to be a father? Castiel to the TV. Castiel hasn't left the bunker and he's happy about that. He said he has everything he needs. Dean asks why he isn't watching The Wire and Game of Thrones, and Castiel says a man cannot live on just caviar. Need some trashy TV too. Well, you sound weird like bad weird. That was Dean's response to that. He's telling him to turn off the TV and get some fresh air, as a man cannot survive like this, and he has been there. The soulless guy from the previous episode is now dead. Again, Castiel has PTSD and he keeps reliving everything before he came back to the boys. Crowley is trying to keep control of the situation and failing. No shit. Crowley is raging because all his staff or his minions are all fucking dead because she keeps eating them because she can't control herself. She's been locked away forever, so of course eating souls is going to be something at the top of her list. Crowley sends demons after the soulless humans, and the boys have trapped him, and now they know that Crowley has Amara, which they already knew before, but now they're just making sure that, she's still there. Dean, rise and shine, Buttercup, to the demon. He just told them that Amara has been eating the demons. Killed the demon they had, as he had a bullet in him anyways. Also, the human wouldn't survive because of where the actual bullet was. The demons aren't happy about Amara because the way Crowley is treating her. over the minions and not giving a fuck about the minions. Did he ever give a fuck? That's the thing. Crowley says he has rules for a reason and that he can't have her eating whatever she wants and wherever she wants. She's being controlled, and we find that this is why she was sent away originally, because she didn't want to be controlled, and it's happening again. So I wonder what the conclusion and the solution will be. The fact that someone's trying to control her again. Crowley has no clue how to be a parent. Yep. Her growing up terrifies him. I'm not surprised, because overnight she can end up turning into an adult. She knows he only wants her power, so she actually is aware that people are using her, which is not a nice feeling. I can imagine it's happened probably to us all, being used. Crowley's negotiating the way you do with a teen. It never fucking worked. Metacock filmed Castiel healing an injured man because he is a douche. Marv is disappointing to Castiel. Marv is now basically human because his grace was removed, remember? So he's now like he's like a reporter, like a cameraman, and that's how he makes his money and stuff. Find out he's lied and cheated to get to where he is as well. Does that surprise you? No, it's Metacock at the end of the day. My girl's all grown up. Should have known the boys would start sniffing around Crowley to Dean. Metacock says he's scared by trauma and fear and that he's become a pussy basically to Cassiel. Then he gets his ass kicked by him, which is what he deserves and which we all loved watching. Metacock is discussing the darkness and how God gave up the one thing for humanity. Wasn't just his children and the angels, it was also something else, and that he closed them away and threw away the key. And now we know the key was the mark, and the mark is gone, and Amara is out. Did God make the ultimate sacrifice? Sacrifice of his kin. So now we find out that God's sister is Amara, that little girl, the woman in the darkness who's connected to Dean. Plot twist. Is this why he doesn't care about the angels and the petty behaviour? Did he create this war between heaven because of his own selfishness? Amara is preparing herself to prepare for war with God himself, her brother. It's time to settle the score. Amara is much stronger than before. All this is in the wait for her becoming her true powerful self. Dean is Stella got her groove back. This is to Castiel becoming less of a hermit and more a productive member of society again. But he let Metacock go and he said he isn't a threat as he is human. Metacock is always a fucking threat, even though he doesn't have the power. He's a manipulative, backstabbing little shit. He'll do anything, kill anything, and do anything to fucking get either his grace back or his power back. One or the other. He's not to be fucking trusted. He is a dick. Simple as that. How did Amara get away from Dean? Get away and Dean is getting the blame. They are connected. Can he control her or is she controlling him? Because it's his job to protect her at all costs. Sam, I will go look at the lore, of course. Lore is excellent. Sam is looking freaked the fuck out, and it's the cube-like image of Lucifer in the cage again. Who's sending these images to him? Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon is playing, the infamous song. It's been in Friends and also it was in Pulp Fiction. Crowley is looking sad and defeated because he has lost the most powerful player on his board, Amara. And as the song is playing, it kind of goes around hell, looking at Crowley and her walking down the streets in her new form, which is teen/young adult, I think, before she actually changes into her final form, is what you see in the darkness. Episode 7. Season 11, Plush, recap Donna, her ex, and all things Donna with Jodie, the boys, and monsters. How she has adapted to a supernatural life. If it bleeds, you can kill it. Sam from the episode about the fear of clowns. Sam is having visions now and feelings about when he prayed at the hospital. When he was infected, he got a vision straight afterwards. He thinks God is giving him. Or is it Lucifer, or is something else happening? So this episode is about people in costumes, like furries, for example, as well, that are going about killing people, but you can't even take the heads off them until after. You find out that a man, I think he may have had special needs, for the way they're describing it, he ended up becoming a vengeful spirit. He was killed because of what he did, because, again, his sister believed the rumours that he was not a good guy and he was basically a child predator or beast as we call them here. And she believes them and they go and they scare him apparently and they're hanging him off a bridge underwater and they're shaking him, but because he's wriggling and trying to get out, he goes, I'm a child performer, I'm not doing anything to the kids, I love my job, I'm not doing anything wrong. And they're saying, yeah. So being two fucking bullies. So the people that are being killed are the people who basically are associated with the two people who took him out, basically. But at the end of the day, he took a sister, because his sister actually put those guys into that position, should I say? They probably would have got to that conclusion themselves because they're not really that fucking intelligent. They probably think that violence solves everything when it doesn't. Especially rumors like that and things that are said like that stick with people even if they're not true. And that's what society is. That guy would never actually be able to have a normal life because you'd have rumors of him being a predator to children, and he's a child performer, like at parties and stuff. So he didn't come after the sister. Her son has his costumes because they were really close and knows how much his uncle loved performing and making kids smile. So he has to be taken out, and then you just find out that the guy was just an innocent guy, and these idiots basically killed him based on a feeling and not actual fact. And it's Donna and where she lives basically that it's really funny with Donna, should I say, that she's with then again another guy named Doug who likes her, and well, she's just like, not really that. And then Dean keeps saying to him like, why don't what about Doug? Doug's like a nice guy kind of thing, and he's not a dick like the other one. There's a clown in it, a killer clown, and he ends up in the lift with Sam. Like I said, is like his possessed items, basically his costumes, things like that. That's how he's getting about. But they take him out, as I said. His nephew said he's not like that. He's not like that. Basically, he loved his uncle, and his sister now has to live with the guilt that she actually was responsible for her brother's death. And again, living with that guilt is enough to drive you insane. But also, your son, your child may hate you now for the rest of your life because you were responsible for his uncle's death and the only person that kind of got him and understood him. So there's that kind of filler episode. It's kind of like family, but in this case, not like it was malicious and it was not really nice. Doug and Donna have a wee powwow at the end. Donna says hopefully they come back to Minnesota, and not a poop storm. Donna is a hunter with 3 cases under her belt. She is happy to be accepted by the boys, and again, an additional family member to the boys, and becoming incredibly protective of Donna and Donna them. He's admitted he's seen Lucifer in the cage. Sam to Dean, and the answer for defeating the darkness could be in the cage. Dean says it's suicide and to ignore it, and do you think that's going to happen with Sam? He's like a dog with a bone. You can't fucking let things go. Episode 8, Just My Imagination of Season 11. The recap is then. Be afraid of the dark. You know what is out there. Recapping and everything odd and God related. Tea parties. This episode is about imaginary friends. And Sam had one called Sully growing up, and he appears back. And he has all this food and stuff at the start, and it was like marshmallow covered nachos and stuff. He found out that Sam wasn't particularly nice to his imaginary friend Sully, and it broke his heart, and he pushed him away. Basically, imaginary friends, they cannot sort out the kids, but the kids who need them the most, they tend to be attached to help them build confidence, be confident in themselves, and for them to actually be well-rounded adults. Now, they're being taken out by someone and killed by a knife-wielding mentalist who is killing imaginary friends. One of the most memorable ones is Sparkles, who is a manicorn, as Dean says, because it's a man slash unicorn. And Sully can see the bloodbath, basically, but they can't, so he makes them see. He doesn't like Dean. He knows Dean's mean, and he don't really get along. And the mother of the wee girl who says that she can't be in a room because of what happened to the manicorn, she's like rubbing her face, and she's got like sparkles all over her, like his blood, but the blood has sparkles in it. And Sully's like freaking the fuck out, going, "Why is she touching her face? No, no, don't touch her face! Like, man, no, sparkles is everywhere." And then Dean says something dodgy because they're dressed as therapists, child psychologists, and he says families that shower together. Are you fucking for real, mate? That is just dodgy. But yeah, he's like, yeah. It's again, you find out that the girl was still needed her imaginary friend, and Sully wasn't there, and she was trying to get his attention by taking out all of his friends. And you see the actual imaginary friends with the kids and how the kids are without them and when they're with them, and you can see that the imaginary friends obviously they do their job. They help kids to be the better versions of themselves and not to be afraid, also to be comfortable in their own skin, giving a positive image of themselves in childhood, and hopefully that goes through into adulthood so they can actually be well-rounded adults. I thought it was a kick in the feels episode because when you have a kid and also you've been a child yourself, if you've not really been a confident, comfortable in your skin child, then if you don't have help to resolve that, then you become an adult who's not comfortable in their own skin. and it can cause a lot of issues. I know for me, I'm not comfortable in mine. And again, I never had imaginary friends. Maybe I didn't have that much of a who knows if I had one. I can't remember if I had an imaginary friend. Did you have one? Who knows? But it's basically telling you that children have imaginary friends for a reason. And like I said, Sully isn't a monster. He just hasn't forgiven himself for what had happened to this girl. And she busts into tears and he hugs her. And all is right with the world again. Sully says kids who are scared have more to conquer and they have the balls to accomplish it. So he's basically saying that Sam, even though he was scared, even though his life, his childhood was different, he didn't want him to go and be a hunter and shit like that. That was basically him tying his childhood and how he became the person he is. He said he's good, he's not bad. That's what Sully was trying to say to him. The episode 9, season 11, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Recap, then something's changed. Amara, I am what you are becoming. Dean's connection. Crowley wanting to control her, but Dean and Amara had his back, and he will have hers. They are connected. What has Lucifer, Amara, and Sam got in common? Amara is fully grown. She is questioning a preacher and demanding his forgiveness, or feel her wrath. So this is how the episode starts. Then she starts showing her power instead. She is yin and God is yang, or the other way, good, bad, dark, light. Oh, honey, you wish. Amara to this guy, then says, well, then the opening comes up. Bad weather and Sam is seeing more visions and it's Lucifer. A sign, a burning bush. It's very biblical to see that. Biblical burning bush. Dean is under the impression Sam is the Lulu, but aren't we all? Are you testing us? She said. God. And then she says she's not the only one in town and then strikes everyone down with lightning. Boys meet with Crowley. Why does he trust these boys? They always fuck him over. Always wants to be the filling in a Winchester sandwich, don't you, audience? Being told that God is light, or is he? Is this what he wants us to believe? This is what she keeps saying, that her brother isn't who he claims to be, and that she was put away because she, like Lucifer, couldn't accept the new baby, which was Earth, humanity, and everything like that. That having his sister wasn't enough, and what they had wasn't enough. He had to create something else, but she didn't want him to do that, apparently. So you find out it's a lot of sibling rivalry and sibling hatred towards each other, and not understanding why one needs the other and all that shit. Mother and son together again, reminiscing over killing each other, which is Rowena and Crowley. Everyone's trying to create teams to defeat what is coming because they don't know what's coming. They're just trying to prepare for the worst. She wants to know what's in the cage, and she's like, oh, let's get to it then, lads. Crowley, Rowena, and the boys working together, the angels working with each other, although they don't believe God will help, that he has abandoned everyone again because of his mistakes. Well, he's not very accountable, God. Amara, show yourself. Lucifer seems to have been, like I said, like anti-Amara and not liking the new baby and was punished for it severely. Dean can sense her and she him. She is calling to him. He can feel her. But Sam is calling. She appears. He is drawn to her. Rowena needs a hand cart and has asked Sam to request one from Crowley as they are going to help. This is the episode where Rowena is going to bring is going to bring Lucifer out of his cage, but Lucifer needs a vessel, which is Sam. Sam is the vessel. Sam doesn't want to give it up. Dean doesn't want him to give it up. And they think that Lucifer is the only way that they'll be able to defeat Amara because he was used before. Like he was used to put her away, and then he was put away himself. Sounds legit, doesn't it? At this point, we see Lucifer, and it's like, oh, he's very, very sexy. Right, and he's very, very sarcastic. I like the fact the guy who plays him is really, really, really good. I think they really picked him well, and I like it when they bring him back because he is brilliant. He's very candid and everything he is. He's very comfortable in being that type of character. It's really nice to see. So apparently souls are like in her living forever, like a forever protein shake. So souls, the shake of load. Oh, Amara, you greedy girl. He's so alpha. Rowena says that to Crowley, and Crowley rolls his eyes like, oh, for fuck's sake, mother, stop fussing on Lucifer, you weirdo, basically. But we're all doing it. Crowley to his mum, get a hold of yourself, you're drooling. God is competitive. Safety for adoration, his way or the highway. Yep. What if there were no rules, no prayer, no pain, just bliss? Because apparently that's what you feel when you look at Amara. Well, Dean does. That's why you can't kill her, you can't take her out, is because she gives him this feeling of comfort, tranquil, and it's everything he needs or everything he wants, I believe. So you see your own bliss. They've spoke about it in other TV shows, how bliss affects people. It's basically tailored to you when you look at the person, and that's it, basically. Can you hear what they're saying, Crowley to Rowena? I would if you would shut it. And again, Rowena, the character, the woman who plays her, Ruthie Connell, is actually Scottish, so her accent isn't fake. Her accent isn't fake, and it's like, again, the way your granny would speak in Scotland if you're from central Scotland, especially. Even though Rowena in real life is only like 4 years older than me, she literally said about 90 the way she talks. Parenting and power, Rowena discussing how difficult it is to hug or to kill your child. Because we all go from hug to kill, don't we? There's nothing in between. Rowena, you sick puppy. Apparently, Mara is different to God, but Lucifer needs a vessel to leave, like we said, and there's no available one. It's like the biggest trick of all time. We find out that Lucifer has been putting those images in Sam's head. It's not from God, it's from Lucifer. When the darkness was escaped, when it was opened, the gate, the door, by Dean and Sam, it shook the cage to the point where he could actually, the force of it actually allowed him to be able to connect with Sam again and give him crazy visions. So, wasn't from God, it was Lucifer doing this. Amara is the beginning and the end and wants it all. God is the light and I am the dark, but that's all Dean needs to know for now. He tries to take her out, but the blade shatters. And this is brought up at the end as well. He tries to kill her, or does he try to kill her? He does the action of he's right beside her, and in a hunter, he does what a hunter would do. He would take it out, yeah? But the bliss doesn't allow him to, and then the knife shatters. So it's like the bliss is taking over the knife and the knife shatters. I know you are a warrior and your instinct is to resist, but I cannot be resisted. Oh my. Then smooches. If you resist, we will unify and take you out, and they will kill innocents in the name of their god. And then Amara takes them out. These are the angels that have came down to deal with her because they think like a few angels are going to be able to take out a god, basically, a higher being. They think that's going to happen. No, she ends up making them take their own lives with their angel blades by their own hands, smiting in 3, 2, 1. Biblical weather, smiting nothing. Crowley has a look of, oh shit, Dean's gonna kill me. Lucy, the forever troll, trolling Sam right at the very end of the episode there. Upper bunk, lower bunk, or do you want to share? Supernatural, episode 10, The Devil in the Details. Now, this episode of season 11 felt like a run up to the finale, which it wasn't, if you're aware, that was not mid season vibes. So, recap, we break it, we bought it, we set her free. Feels like mid season, like I said, even though there's 23 episodes in this season. Build up, betray the darkness, bonded with Amara, destiny. She cannot be resisted. Lucifer's trickery about the visions and how it was all about him, not God. Crowley in Christmas pyjamas, the episode starts, and Rowena is dressed as a traditional mother at Christmas, but she's got like Rudolph ears on and like a Rudolph nose and stuff. Lucifer is Saint Nick. Crowley is so angelic and sweet. I miss the old one. Can I have him back, please? Crowley is in Christmas like onesie pajamas, and it's just so funny because he gets like a a Funko Pop, and he's just a big fluffy onesie, and but I was a good boy. And then he gets killed. He's just so excited though. Before that, he's so excited that he got like the Winchesters basically, and his stocking. It's so funny. Lucifer doesn't like Sam, but he respects him. Memory lane and him going to hell and saving Dean in the world. Dean is going to hell. It's Billy, the Reaper. She'll make sure they stay dead. Again, it's another threat from her that she did say before to Sam. She works with Crowley, not for him, because Dean is wondering why the fuck are you working with him? Working for him. She's like, no, I'm not. Fuck you. Everybody in this world has a job, whether it's good or evil, but Reapers are there to reap your soul when you die and take you to where you're supposed to go, so they're like neutral technically for the greater good on both sides. Amara is here and she's stealing the essence of the other angel. Pretty hot. All the darkness from the outside is going back into Amara and now it's back to daylight. That is after she was smited that happened. We find out that people get sick when there's like a charge like that of smiting. It's like the smiting flu or something like that, and it makes you really ill and you can die. Again, it's like poison to humans. She was a tasty snack, apparently. Now Rowena is being controlled by Crowley, hopping on one foot and everything, like in Coming to America, but no barking, thankfully. He's controlling her because he needs her and the boys need her, obviously. So now she is in full control because she also betrayed them. Apparently, Rowena has been having this nightmare, as she calls it, because of Lucifer, and the worst part is the antlers and nose that is still flashing like Rudolph are stuck on, and apparently this makes her sad. Rowena is a traitor to everyone. She's not a traitor to herself because she's always got her own back. Lucifer fought the darkness and won, but did he? That's the thing. They keep saying he fought him. You find out he actually didn't actually fight her. He had the mark of Cain that was given to him by God his father, and it was the mark that was the lock that was the key to the lock that put her away forever. So he is actually part of what actually had happened to Amara, as you find out. But tying up loose ends, God get rid of Lucifer as well, because Lucifer saw what Amara seen, that he favoured humans, humanity, mankind, and Earth over his own family. He had to go because he knew he could see what his father really was, so that's why Lucifer was sent to hell and became, well, the devil himself. Sit him, shut up, and let him work. Rowena to Crowley about Lucifer. Sam can't come to the phone right now because he is waxing everything. This is Dean's voicemail that he's recreated on Sam's phone because he's trying to phone him. Crowley's inbox is so funny as well. For demon deals, press 1. Press 2 for sightings of that ginger whore. Rowena, press 2. That's hilarious. Again, smiting sickness it's called. And Dean has it because it's poisonous, like I said. Cass and Dean are in the cage and Lucifer has heaven is missing an angel playing, and he's so playful. Don't they know he's been waiting for an opportunity for an eternity, and they are so confused. Fighting mid-season build up to the music is there for battle. Why are they wasting time in the cage with Lucifer? Dean will die if he doesn't wear me like a Sunday dress. Bright light and Lucifer went somewhere. He's fighting with Castiel, and Castiel asks him if can you take her out, basically? And then he says yes, and he's in Castiel's body. And I call it Lustiel because it's like Castiel and Lucifer all at once. Bite me, Dean to Rowena. I can make her do that, Crowley says. But again, it's like hilarious. I can make her do that. Team up over. Crowley's the boys and Castiel. She stays, Dean. Crowley to the boys. The rest of you lot, get out of hell. Crowley to the boys. Crowley to Rowena, why do you hate me? Because Crowley reminds her of her old life. She hates him because she would love him. And she sees love as a weakness and she will never be weak again. Someone said yes, and now he's in Castiel, like I said. Now Misha gets to show us his acting talent. I'm back, baby. That's his first line as Lucifer in his body. Rowena seems to be wet with anticipation. Yep. He asks if anyone can open the cage. He says just me, and then he breaks her neck. Now you need to remember that Rowena is very, very smart and tricky. So when he kills her, you can imagine she isn't dead, and you find that out with Crowley in early in season that there's a spell that ties you to like your essence, your life force, basically, and if your heart stops or something, then it triggers something, and then you come back. And that's what she's done to herself. So we know she's not a dumbass and she's very resourceful. As we know, a witch of her stature and age, she will have a backup, like I said, in case she's taken out. And that is why she's lasted as long as she has. Episode 11, Into the Mystic, recap. Then, Lucifer's cage, Sam's guilt, Sam being manipulated by Lucifer and being gullible. Crowley helping, but to what extent? Castiel, can you really beat her? As the spell was being cast, Castiel, he says yes to him. And then that was him and his new vessel. Amara cannot be resisted. The bliss is forever and they'll have a destiny. Dean and Amara, there isn't much point in fighting it. This episode features a young woman working at an assisted living facility hunting a demon. We find out she's deaf and that she wasn't born this way. A banshee did this as a child to her, as her mother was a member of the Men of Letters, and that her work came home with her one night. Her parents died, and then she was left as a legacy. It's another episode where the boys are being lusted after by a cougar named Mildred. Lucifer stoating about in Castiel's vessel and saying he's heaven's only hope to defeating the darkness because he loves to be so fucking important. He's got so many daddy issues, it's unbelievable, that guy. He's here to save us all. He snaps his fingers and he explodes, licks his bloody fingers and says, no vision. old school music and it's giving you creepy memory vibes. Mildred wants to devour Dean, it seems. Dean, I am single and ready to mingle. Mildred says, you know where I live, and he doesn't disagree about it. She signs about how she likes him to walk away because, wow, this is me. It is. She signs and says, wow, it's better when they walk away and the boys are bonding. Mildred, the cougar, lusty old lady, after the boys, has a deaf granddaughter and she wants to practice signing. And it's nice because the actress herself is deaf and she's been in other TV shows like Lie to Me and things like that. So she's an actress who's overcome lots of things, and obviously signing is used in obviously episodes that she's in of TV shows and things. And I really, really liked it. I really, really like her as an actress as well. Very, very talented. And being deaf, I'm partially deaf myself, as people know. And it's incredibly difficult. But she is amazing in this episode, and it's really nice to see them actually incorporating sign language into the episodes. So I really enjoy it. And she's in other episodes because she is now an extension of the family to the boys, because she is part of the legacy of the Men in Letters as well. Looking at old pictures and at Oak Park Retirement Village in his boy box, and music is playing to bring the episode to an end. Always family, always making choices. They aren't always the right ones, but for the greater good. A lot of reflection. Another family is the members of the Men of Letters. It's all legacies right now. So they have each other. As they were brought up hunters, they know what it's like not like to be alone and only have each other. Episode 12, Don't You Forget About Me. Makes me want to burst into the Simple Minds song, not right in, and watch The Breakfast Club. There's no recap this episode, so Claire, what are you? Now, this episode is an episode of Claire Novak, who is the vessel of Cass' daughter. And now we know she's a bit of a rogue and she's a teenager at the end of the day, but she's old enough to go to college now. And apparently she's not going to college. She's signed up, but she doesn't go to classes. She's just been wants to be a hunter. She keeps saying that there's something going on in the town and no one fucking believes her. They think she's paranoid because she's actually been super paranoid and almost got people killed. We find out that Alex, who's the other girl who was in a few seasons ago, where she was actually like a groomer or she was groomed by vampires to bring them food. Her past has came up to bite on the ass. One of the victims that she led to's death to the family that basically groomed her for bringing their dinner has decided to take out the people she loves and change her life and basically eventually kill her. And Jodie, who's looking after her, she said that she's not a bad person because she wanted to give herself up, become a vampire, so they wouldn't hurt Jodie or Claire. Claire was right. It's a very awkward episode because they start talking about sex in front of the boys at the dinner table, and they're just like pure like, oh, shut the fuck up. No one wants to hear their mum talking about sex in the morning after pill and stuff. They're just like, oh, if you know how to, if you're taking pills, then you should know, everything. She's basically saying that you can't trust the guy. You've got to be prepared in all aspects of having sex and stuff. It's hilarious because again, most people don't like talking to their parents about sex or the act of sex or being prepared. I know I told my mum when I was on the pill, not because I was having sex, because I wanted to be prepared for when I did have sex and I end up pregnant as a teenager. So my mum had that to deal with because I'm very direct. So she wasn't unhappy about it. And the way Jodie is, she wants the girls to be responsible adults and actually understand what they're doing. Yes, it's fun. There's also consequences if you don't actually do what you're supposed to do. Her boyfriend ends up being a vampire as well. They kill everybody she likes, as they do. But then the boys come back and they fight as a family. Alex says she doesn't want to be part of that life. She wants to do something different, something for good. She doesn't even want to be a hunter. She doesn't want to do that. She wants to put that life behind her, and Jodie respects that as well. But Claire is going to be getting taught how to follow trails and actually do things so she is not killed in the process. Because that seems to happen, that she doesn't actually listen and she just goes and thinks she knows better when she doesn't, and that's how she gets caught. Basically, and killed, or she's manipulated like she's been before she was manipulated. So she is. Dean discusses this with Jodie earlier, that he wishes Sam and him had this growing up, but deep down I believe they have this with Jodie anyway as adults, and they had this with also Bobby as children, and also Ellen as adults. And they've lost so much family along the way, and yet sometimes even the Winches need to know that someone else has their backs and they are not alone. So Love Hurts is like an episode for Valentine's Day, and again the recap is basically all the Halloween episodes and Valentine's and special episodes that make no sense. Amara and Dean's connection. They're in Hudson, Ohio. A lot of these cases happen in Ohio. I wonder if Luna is aware that all the cases are in Ohio. Bullshit episode again about cheating and scorned wives, also problematic girlfriends. Basically, there is a witch type woman who's a hairdresser who's listening to obviously boring housewives talk about how their husbands are cheating on them, and to get them back, they put curses on them. But the curses are actually not just taking out the cheater, but also the person who loves them the most and will go back to them. You know, those idiots that say, I pure love them, and you just want to shake them and say, shut the fuck up. Well, she's doing society a fucking favour. Again, it's a stupid episode that was full of shit. It was very Dr. Phil, but to keep it as a episode without any filler, they do put like a Dr. Phil moment at the end. Like, again, when Sam takes the thing out, she has to stab this black heart in a box, and the entity is going, Den has kept his heart for now. So basically, at the end, to kill the entity, you've got to stab this heart, and all the kind of energy comes out. It's black in a box, and it's kind of like what the hold of Amara has on Dean and on each other, and that's why they cannot resist the bliss kind of thing at the end. Sam is being Dr. Phil and not sincere and stating the obvious as per usual. But when you do that to him, he fucking gives you a look and an eye roll for fuck's sake. But it's okay to do that to Dean. He can't explain what is happening to him when she appears and he is screwed. Dean says that the darkness needs to die, but he's sorry he won't be able to do it because of their connection. Episode 14, The Vessel. Many letters, secret society, angels travel in time, the Nazi answers now. Right, this is where we find out, take out God, there's a few items on Earth that have been touched by him, yes, as dodgy as that sound, and they have this energy that has enough power to take out possibly Amara. They'd only find out it's a one hitter when they use it. You can't touch it, it's that powerful because, again, you absorb its energy from God. So Lucifer is back. Dean struggles to kill the darkness. It's 1943 in France, and again, Nazi flags everywhere because they've kind of went back to many letters from the war. And Delphine is a woman. She is basically speaking to a German officer who obviously works for the special part of the Nazis who are trying to track down things that they think don't even exist, like the Hand of God. She takes him out after she kisses him because obviously she is she's part of Men in Letters, and she's obviously there to seduce people. As again, sex as that sound, men can seduce women, but hey, she's on this boat that is sunk because they are trying to get the Hand of God back to wherever she is taking it for the Men in Letters. Dean goes back and he's trying to help get the Hand of God back. Finds out that the woman in Men in Letters actually has a tattoo on herself that's actually connected to her heart. If she is basically killed, then the ship's warding and stuff will actually drop and he'll be able to leave because he can't leave. Also, Castiel is Lucifer is in Castiel's body, and he's literally took him there, by the way, to get this Hand of God, and knows that he couldn't like get in, and he's came back and he's trying to act like he's helping and he's not, but he's literally reading lore in the bunker, obviously for other reasons, but trying to look busy at the same time. Again, it's the episode's okay. It's just weird. The episode is trying to show you what the Menelaiters did in the past compared to the present, what they actually have done in part, like in war and stuff, and things that they done, because they actually spoke about that when they were dealing with the golem and stuff. Remember where they had the Nazi mancers and they were all like still alive today because they used like powerful magic, it seems, from the Book of the Damned. All that kind of storyline kind of ties together from the seasons, and obviously they're looking for the Hand of God. I don't know what they were wanting it for, but it couldn't fall in their hands again because, again, do we really want the Nazis to have anything, especially in Supernatural? Because, again, how would it turn out? They will keep saying that. How would things turn out? People keep asking Dean, like, what happens to, like, the baseball and stuff, and he's like, I'm not a fan, so he wouldn't know. And, like, people say, like, I died and things like that, and he's like, well, yeah. But he can't save them because it would cause a ripple effect. Remember Balthazar on Titanic, where he didn't like the Celine Dion song and he didn't sink, and they prevented the ship from sinking, and all those people ended up dying because they're not supposed to be there in the first place. Dean looks distressed, and he's so sad at the end of this story. He said it's a story for another day, as he cannot discuss it as it was so real, and he knows those people briefly, and yet he wasn't allowed to save them due to what could happen, as this would change their future, and then it would trigger the ripple effect, and people would die who shouldn't have existed and kill everyone on the sub too. His face is sheer shock and sadness, but he knows he will have to unpack this at some point, but not right now, because he is not ready. Episode 15, Beyond the Mat. Recap: Lucifer, Lustiel, Crowley being abused by Lucifer, the Hand of God, Men of Letters, Amara and Dean's connection, Brims in Missouri. We're in Wrestling and Memories. Again, this is their dad's favourite wrestler is Dean, apparently, and they're reminiscing. You find out that the wrestler that Dean enjoys is actually working for a demon for collecting souls and giving them everything they want, basically a deal. So you see a lot of them when they go to the actual wrestling match, they are really like, he's total fanboying, and they're like so happy. It's like sheer joy in their face when they're watching it. And it's obviously taking them to a part of their life where, their dad was actually a father to them and doing things like family time. But they've also got to take people out. They find like an ancient Sumerian symbol and stuff, and they find out what it all means as they do. The dealer giving Dean's dream boy drugs or something as a demon. He has red eyes. He wants him to give him into his dreams, and he will give them to you, and he needs him to help him out by killing someone and have his soul, and he will have what he desires, what he declines. Crowley is in a storage unit right now. At the moment, what I had failed to mention was he's a pet to Lustiel. He's chained up and he's basically been getting called puppy, abused, and he's going to have all sorts of PTSD. He's made to like lick the floor with his tongue, also clean it with a toothbrush, and he's wearing the worst clothes ever, like to embarrass him or humiliate him and things like that, because he technically, Crowley was a backstabbing cunt as he is, and he's getting punished by Lustiel, which is Lucifer and Castiel's body in hell. And he's bored and he's just like wasting time, so that's what he's doing. And he's managed to manipulate him into thinking that he's escaping. He knows that he has one of the hands of God in a storage unit, and it's the rod of Aaron. And again, it's just a stick which she touches. It's very phallic. Crowley says he doesn't think she can handle his rod, which is hilarious. But can I? That's the thing. Lucifer says, but I can be tricked by just one of his old employees. This episode again is a little boring, as there's been a few of them back to back have been boring. Tricked by Lustiel, the rod is a stick. Crowley said he invented the double cross. He just absorbed the tingly sensation. He knows its power and wants to know what it does to be like to do this to Lucifer. Dean says to the wrestler that it's never too late to do the right thing, and he doesn't believe him. And again, one shot puppy. God, I hope the feeling was worth it. Dean heard hellhounds, and the wrestler said he wondered what they sounded like because he didn't follow orders. That's him, and we can hear the hounds trying to bash themselves in. He says he was never a good man, and this is his redemption for his bad decisions. Sam agrees, we've been there, and they are okay. Not for him, though. Dean says no matter how hard it gets, he just got to keep grinding, and that they are going to shank the darkness. Sorry, everyone, but you, Dean, cannot. This one is for Sam. What do you think about Dean's inability to take out Amara? Do you think this is this curse for completely annihilating the mark, only to open the lock and setting her free? They spoke about the darkness being a thing and not a person. Would he have done it knowing it was a person? Is Amara as evil as they claim her to be? Or was it because she didn't want to take a pay cut for her to step back a few paces behind her brother and humanity? Why was she the thing to be scared of when it seems that God is the one who is in fact the evil one? After all, imprisonment of his counterpart, the darkness used as a threat to keep people in line. Was it because of her knowledge, because she knew her brother was wrong, that he created Earth for all the wrong reasons? Who knows? Let me know in the comments what you think. Supernatural, Season 11, Episode 16, Safe House. Now, this is a recap showing you Rufus and Bobby. It's showing you back to the past because the boys are going to a house where things are happening. There was a child that was attacked and is now in hospital. Oh. Rufus and Bobby and their problematic relationship, their love for each other, and just their grumpy old men type of feel. One of my they keeps recapping all the kind of good parts of them, like when Rufus shows up and he's on the run from the police, and he turns around to them and says, "I haven't seen that dick, which is like, obviously they don't get along. They do get along, but they also I think they're so much alike, because you find out again, it kind of brings up to you to tell you that Rufus was the one who was there for Bobby. He taught Bobby pretty much everything to start him off in his hunter life after his wife he had to take out his wife because his wife was possessed. So Rufus is basically what Bobby is to the boys, basically. So even though the boys grew up as a hunter with their dad, they learned a lot of things from him. Bobby's like the ultimate, like I said, hunter. He has the lore, he has everything, and even has a fucking dungeon, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? So he is very well prepared. We love him. So basically, it's an entity that basically in that house, and kids are stuck in a kind of limbo place. They're not dead and they're not alive, they're just in a state. And it actually happened to the families as well, the parents. So they find the symbols all over the place, but the symbols are not are I think one of them was destroyed, or partially destroyed. It's kind of like the symbols and the symbolism that you get for, the angels when you want to send them away and stuff, the sigils. If that gets like scraped, or like the boys' tattoos, if they're like fucked with in any way, then they can get in. So they do so they go back and forth between Bobby and Rufus's experience of this to theirs. So it's again tying up, bringing them up, and then talking about how good it would be to see Rufus and Bobby in the bunker, and how Bobby would be so much comfy there. And I've said that before, I think the Menelator's place would literally become Bobby's house, because it did get destroyed anyway, but I think Bobby would be really at peace in that place because it has everything: weapons, cars, booze, and also cool things, and mystery, and lots of lore, and I think he'd be definitely incredibly happy there. So it was really nice, the boys having a powwow before they go off and they drive off. Red meat. Again, this is about werewolves and werewolves changing humans for some reason. So recap: Cass, Mask, Lucifer, Listiel, hating, faking, the brothers bonding again. Boys don't realise in the last episode that Lucifer is in Castiel's body, remember? So they find that out. How they can't tell, because he's not really a constipation face. Brothers bonding again: Crowley, Stephen Cash, shanking the gardens, Get Lucifer, Ripples and Death, Empty Threats. Now, brothers fighting a couple of vamps, getting their ass kicked, but seems to have the upper hand now, finally. So they go to a place and it shows you Sam being shot, and then it goes back to 48 hours earlier. And basically there's an animal attack and some missing hikers, and Dean doesn't think it's important. He'll just send someone else there, but they go anyway. When Sam's shot, you get suffocated by this victim that the Dean has saved, basically, and you find out that he has become a werewolf, and the werewolf literally is going about killing everybody. Now, Dean takes a lethal concoction of drugs in the hospital to die, go into a stasis of death, so he can go to the Vale and speak to Billy and say to bring Sam back, and then he finds out that Sam is needed and he's in limbo, basically. He brought the darkness here, as did Billy keeps telling him. Saving Sam from himself and not the greater good again. He's getting a bit of a pep, not a pep talk, but basically saying you only come to me when you want to bring your brother back or bring yourself back or whatever. No more extra lives. I'm not asking you, I'm begging you. Take him instead. She said, reap you. I didn't hear that. But she told him Sam isn't dead, like I said, but he almost is. The empty is waiting, obviously not. Another episode of Dean showing his loyalty to his brother. Sam is picking them off one by one because Sam is a freaking Winchester. Everyone is being taken out. Police, the doctor, everyone, no control. Corbin is shot with a silver bullet by Sam, who's the guy who's become a werewolf. Dean says you took long enough. Again, the brothers chat, and that's the end. Fuck. It was a pointless episode of just bringing Billy back into it so they can reassure that she's going to take them out once they're like going through the veil again, and she's not letting them away with anything. So Hell's Angels, episode 18 of season 11 recap. Them letting out the darkness and Lucifer being the worst thing when the darkness is much worse. Lustiel, which is Castiel, crossed with Lucifer. Crowley being broken down by Lucifer, and the Hand of God artifacts now. Kinda an Aladdin type feel, like Arabian Nights. Bad weather, now Crowley, where he's speaking in another language, though he looks amazing. I came when you asked, the guy's like, and he has what he's after, which is a Hand of God. Crowley's on the phone to Dean and he says that he has a divinity weapon to take out Lucifer. He's on the move. Rowena is looking after Amara because Amara got smited, remember, by the angels. Even though she took them out, they still damaged her. but she is thinking if she heals Amara, then she'll be basically in Amara's good books, etc., and she'll be protected by Amara because Rowena is very resourceful. We know that. They're discussing how much they hate both Crowley and Lucifer. She realises that Uncle Crowley is the same Crowley that they're talking about. Rowena is a survivor and she is a casket of powerful magic, and that is why she didn't die, because the magic saying she was dying and it saved her after Lucifer took her out, like I said. Rowena has power to heal her, and Amara will create the world in her eyes, and Rowena will be by her side. She always has a game plan. Crowley about Listiel. He kept me in a kennel. Yes, he did, amongst things. Would Castiel enjoy this when he could see this being hijacked by Lucifer, I wonder? Blah, 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 Crowley payback. You have to match the level of her power, and he has the horn of Joshua to do this. So Crowley will help, but he wants the boys to exorcise Lucifer from Castiel and put Lucifer back in the cage. The horn is hidden. Crowley, did I say this would be easy? No, I didn't. They need Rowena, but he assumes she's rotten somewhere, and again, Crowley knows his mother always has a plan. Lucifer is in heaven, and the angel says it was funny that Heaven's Most Wanted has showed up with Heaven's Most Hated in one package in front of him. Crowley was made a bitch and his ego also, and he called me puppy. Dean, sometimes I want to be slapped during sex by a woman wearing a Zorro mask, but that don't make it a good idea. The face Crowley is pulling when he pulses his face, like, that sounds good. Apparently Crowley wants to jab white jaggy things in his eyes then hear you bitches bicker. The Winchesters are bickering apparently. The horn is still hidden until Lucifer is back in the cage. Heaven's corridors are all black and the darkness is coming. Is this it? Finally bringing the elephant to water to prepare for the ultimate showdown. God, show yourself. Auntie Amara is not happy about this meeting. I'm not surprised. Listiel is talking about him being the only one to defeat her and that God don't care. Amara is back. Rowena is eavesdropping on Crowley and the boys. Amara is pissed and apparently has been since the dawn of time. Wouldn't you be? Because you got basically backstabbed by your brother. Crowley has all the cards. Do what he wants first, then he will give them everything, including the horn. Don't we want to do everything Crowley says so we can get the horn? Summoning, and Rowena is here waving like a creep. Don't we love her? Crowley likes to make an entrance and how I want him in my entrance. Yes, I said that. Crowley banter and finding out that they have all been hiding. If the boys don't do what he needs, then he will take the horn away. Spell casting Listiel and holy fire, and he has saw the horn of Joshua. Lucifer's ripping the piss and he shouts, Cast! Castiel is in his happy place and Crowley is in his head. And he is joined by Lucifer. Because remember, Crowley's done this before to Sam. He's got into his head when Zeke, who's not Zeke, was in his head. To get him to wake the fuck up and to defeat him, he kind of does the same thing to Castiel when Castiel has Lucifer in his body, but he's only got like a small amount of time before Lucifer actually realizes. Listiel has the horn and Amara is back. He gives the power and shoots it at her, and then she's glowing and it has done nothing. It's like they are collecting items on a scavenger hunt, and we know only once to absorb the power, it only works once, and it did nothing. I'm thinking, would it be better if they had multiple items and used them all at once? If you could extract the power out of them all and put it into one thing, I can imagine it would probably do some sort of damage, but I don't think it's actually enough to do what they need to do. As I don't even think she can be destroyed, that's the thing. If you destroyed her, would she destroy God as well? Because they're both technically the light and darkness of each other, the yin to the yang and all that kind of. If you killed one, what would it do? If you killed them, would it kill the other, or would it have like would it start an existential crisis everywhere? Who the fuck knows? I'm sure we'll find out. She puts her hand out and brings him towards her, puts her hands in his face and says how they need to have a nice long chat. That's Lucifer. She does that too. Amara, as if the weapon charged her up, not actually made her powerless, it made her powerful. Everyone is backstabbing each other, it seems. Now no weapon but Listiel isn't the chosen one to wield it. Amara seems softer being around a fellow family member who has been thrown away by God also. She's telling Listiel that she's going to destroy everything he has made in one fell swoop. She is using the power from the horn to inflict pain on the vessel, so both Lucifer and Cass would be suffering at the hands of the weapon. by Amara. Amara has a score to settle, and so does everyone this season, about correcting the wrongs being made so that they can live to fight another day. Episode 19 is called The Chitters. This is another episode that makes no sense. Just another episode as filler that's basically getting towards the end. There wasn't much filler episodes this season, but the ones with filler did have stuff to do with Amara, and the recap is all about monsters, Amara and Lucifer and their family reunions and their family issues, problematic behaviour, and angels. Now, again, the brothers, at the start, there's two brothers talking about how they're going to get out of a town, and he has a special penny that's worth money, and then his brother gets taken away. And it kind of is a representation of Sam and Dean this episode, where it's family, where they're always there. Every 27 years, people are taken. They become what are called, they call them chitters, the town. The town is relatively new and like 50 odd year old, so it's only kind of happened twice apparently. So what they do is they chitters, they shake and they kind of do like a chattering noise, and they have green eyes, and all they do is have sex, and apparently they're junkless, which makes Dean like, what? They're junkless and they're having sex? So basically they're wanting to reproduce more chitters, so they abduct people, have sex for like a limited amount of time, then they basically the males that are in this kind of version of themselves, they are there to protect the mothers, but the mothers end up dying because, again, they're a human vessel, but they have this entity inside them that was put in there by having the orgies and stuff. People had said that the chittering noises, you can hear them and you know that it's basically orgy season, from what they said. The guy actually comes back who is actually at the beginning when his brother was taken, and he says that he's been waiting years to do this, and he became a hunter and hunting things in the night. He was told he was crazy and things like that. He found out the old sheriff's daughter was actually abducted and was one of these baby factories or chitter factories, and instead of telling people that it was real, he just killed his daughter and thought that that would be it, but obviously not. The guy whose brother was taken 27 years ago, he and his partner, not just as a hunter partner, but his partner in life, they get their happy ending after they actually destroy everything and make sure that obviously it can never happen again. And Dean and Sam like kind of reflect on how, you know, they're getting out. They're like actually getting to go live their life because that part of his life, that chapter, is over. The people that was responsible for killing and taking his brother away, that chapter is closed now because they took out the entity, the demons, the monsters even that did that in the first place, so they get to go live happily ever after. And again, Dean and Sam want that for themselves, but they wouldn't deprive other hunters of that. They're not selfish like that. Or envious, maybe, yes, but they wouldn't stop someone from getting out and having a happy ending like that. As weird as that sounds, but it's totally true. God has rejected and locked away the ones who question him and doesn't agree with him. He casts them out and makes them the bad guys. Even Amara was only known in heaven, and Lucifer, demons head to purgatory as a nightmare to tell the little monsters in the darkness. The two hunters go making it their finish line, getting out and living and loving. The boys leave and off they go. Episode 20, Don't Call Me Shirley, the recap, all about Chuck, the Winchester Golf's boat, Amara being God's sister, the search for God, and Chuck's writing them. How God doesn't feel any of this shit is his fault, deflecting much sounds about right, lock away his sister and his son when they point out he's in fact in the wrong, punishing them and making him the good guy when he's in fact the bad guy. Metacock has been abducted and he's in this bar. He was this guy of God and finds out that, oh, you can't see me, and then he switches it on and Chuck has this big bright light. Chuck disappeared, by the way, no one can find him, and they just assume he had died, but Chuck is in fact God. Yes, Chuck is God. Metacock rips the piss at him, says he's writing his shit. The books, the Winchester Gospels are shit and they make no sense and stuff. And he said they don't even break the top 10,000 of the books that he's read on his time on Earth. So he actually agrees to write the memoirs of God again to, you know, show what has actually happened to get them to this point and who the darkness is, why the darkness was, and why the darkness was put away, etc. Metacock turns around and said that this is one of God's places, so he already knew. And he's like, how would he know? Did you know? Hack writer, he calls him a hack writer, which is hilarious. Tell me the beard is real. That's what Metacock says to him. He isn't happy about him burning the book. He burns a Winchester book when he's narrating an episode. Remember where he's just like a pretentious wank, basically. In one of the seasons, I think it was a couple of seasons ago, where he does that and he puts the glasses on to show that he's God. underrated and due for a reboot. Okay, so he's an ass kisser 5000 Metacock. He needs a stiffer drink apparently. Everything seems very story-like in this episode. I didn't really like it, as you can imagine. Amara is the fog and she has a message for Dean. The infected have a big black veins again and they're killing. When they don't have control, it's the darkness hold over them, and she is basically there's a police officer in the town that they're in after the fog is there, and she had to watch herself hurt her husband, but she couldn't do anything about it. Amara's showing everyone the truth. It's a mirror, and the sheriff shoots her. It will all be over soon. It's all going away forever, but not you, Dean. And then the fog is coming down over the hills, very, very creepily, and through the streets. Oh fuck, I believe. Are you shitting in your pantaloons right now? God never takes responsibility, leaving it a resolution, a helicopter parent. That's what he says. He goes, no one likes a helicopter parent. God, what the actual fuck? You haven't parented anyone. You're a coward and a shitty person. Apparently, God says Dean would still be here as a demon, but it was Sam who couldn't deal with it, and he brought him back. He's brought back Castiel more times, so he saved them, but it's Amara. Time to shine bullshit. And he's just letting it fucking happen. Metacock tells him in his memoir is shit, and he is rushing around trying to create a masterpiece, and he is hiding. Apparently, Chuck is super cute, as he is. The bar, well, Amara can't hurt him there. That's why they're there. Metacock, you were a liar and a coward. You seem to forget your short reign. You dictating little shit. That's what he's like in this episode, by the way. Pushed God to violence. Apparently, Metacock had a chubby for God, whereas everyone else was scared of him. Everyone has been taken out by the fog in town. Before it's very Crowtone episode, the way Crowtone happened, and the police station again, trying to get all the exits sealed, all the salt put duct tape over the vents and stuff to stop the smoke, the fog getting in, because once the fog you breathe it in, that's you. And again, it happens partially to Sam. Sam is infected, and then Dean shouts like a mother at him. God's light shone on him. Now he's moaning about it, greeting about being abandoned. He left everyone. Sam is giving up. Amara tells him he has to leave before he gets infected too. They are each other's ride or die here. Winchester's for life, blood and family. Dean says to stop this, you dick, and shakes his fist at the sky, referring to God. Chuck tries to sing and be a one-man band. Metacock is writing God's true word at a computer, got his glasses on, he's ready to go. The amulet that Dean wears around his neck, remember, would only ever shine in God's presence. And it's glowing like a motherfucker. It's glowing as bright as E.T.'s finger. And Chuck is there in front of them, and he has shown himself finally. We should probably talk. You think, Chuck? You think. Yet, when he was Chuck, he couldn't get laid. He was God, and he couldn't get his dick wet. What the fuck? Supernatural episode 21, All in the Family recap. Chuck, prophet of the Lord, and he is God, everything God. Metacock, Amara and Chuck, yin and yang, good and bad, light and dark. Lucifer and Castiel. If Amara is in control, she restarts and destroys. Now, God, blah blah blah. Chuck. Abandonment issues. Chuck never existed, or did he? Kevin is there. I really missed him, and to show him to the boys in the bunker that he is a good guy, he takes Kevin's spirit and says, in his soul, and says, "It's time for you to go to be shaded up. It's time to not be in the veil." So instead of him being his mother like he was, and he was in the veil, he gets upgraded to heaven. So he's got like a nice, they've got a nice memory manipulation tactic. Holy crap! Dean realizes he's the real deal. He prefers to be called Chuck. Sam is weirded out by it, as is everybody else. Dean is crying. Poor guy. Amara is strong, but Lestelle is saying she cannot beat him. She cannot be him. Chuck has no idea where she is, as she's worded herself. Chuck has faith in the boys. No, you're manipulating them, Chuck, you cock. He wants to have a shower in the bunker. Fuck you, asshat. So Boohoo episode is shit. Boohoo Chuck toddler taking a tantrum, as we are seeing him for he really is. Amara is feeling the change. Lestelle, stop whining. Really? She's torturing him as he did her with God to put her away for eons. Bunker time. I've missed you, Dean. Amara is showing herself to him at the bunker. Lustiel is not doing so well. The vessel is dying, and that Castiel may not survive. Yet God can't stop it. God can stop it. Yet he is not. Again, he is nice and as good as you really have been portrayed to be. Another prophet being taken over by the fog. It's pretty. It's petty sibling squabbles being spoiled and fighting for each other's attention. Bacon. You eat bacon. Chuck's vessel is human, so he does get hungry, or he can't eat. He isn't an angel. Find her, really. Ordering about the boys. What a dick, Chuck. Metacock sees the boys on TV and the news of the fog, but he also sees the fact that the boys have seen Chuck and seen the amulet glowing and saying that he must know that he is God. Apparently, Metacock phones Dean and says he has something to show him. They're at a bar and he orders a drink and said it's on them because it seems that he doesn't like putting his hand in his pocket. They meet a man named Donatello and he has been awakened as a scry. Donatello is an atheist and a chemist. He tries to escape the Impala about the drama of the god of God. God is watching curling in his pants and eating old Chinese food, and he don't care about the prophets. Which we always thought all the prophets were dead because Crowley took them all out, but apparently a few more were hidden. It seems Metacock turns around and says, "I wrote your name in angels' eyelids," because that doesn't sound creepy. I've never been seen so much porn in one sitting. What the actual fuck? Watching another man's porn? Anyone? That is just a pure violation, Chuck, and is so inappropriate. I made you. That's fucking creepy. We are all related. Blah blah blah. He included free will in the kit apparently. Don't pull any crap. I got nothing, Metacock to the boys. The manuscript. The word of God as written by Metacock the dictator, because that was going to go well. Dean says, "Why are you bailing when they get Amara? He's just walking away." He calls it strategy death by his sister. So he calls that strategy death by his sister, trade himself for his creations. Metacock is scaring the new prophet. Good cop, bad cop. Even douche help. Yes, you are a douche. But now he cares as God doesn't. God is just showing his true colours, to be fair. He's like sick of it, he's bored. Because he put his sister away, he realises that he's been alone. And instead of listening to her and hearing her out, he put her away. And now he's at the consequence of his actions of being alone, being bored, and now walking away from his creations because they're not in love with him as much as they were. And I'm not sure if it's the adoration he's pissed off with. He just doesn't want to be adored anymore. Was he ever adored? That's the thing. That's what happens. Religion, as the decades go on, people start believing in other things other than faith because they have faith in themselves and they don't actually need faith in an imaginary deity. Metacock, do you trust him? No one trusts Metacock or God. Boundless within her, really. Dean is wasting time and doesn't want to say goodbye to this world. Lustiel is in pain in the dying vessel, or the vessel is dying. There's a plan. That's why. Don't be so gullible, Amara. Amara has appealed to Dean and says there can be no us. We need to walk away, and she asks why he doesn't. Boundless within her, really. Metacock is chanting a spell. I am drawn to you, and it bothers the hell out of me because I cannot control it. Why fight it? Amara says to him. I am the end of your struggle. Something stops you from having it all, Amara to Dean. Where are your thoughts? She knows that he's wasting time now. You've spoken with God, you've seen him. You've betrayed me. She's coming. Sounding erotic, are we? Mm-hmm. Metacock, it's okay, Sam. Google. I'm serious, I got this. Finally, he's doing something right. It's just taken him a couple of seasons to realise that his fight and his belief was wrong, and he's actually helped to get her here and everything. So he stays behind to try and get rid of her, and he dies in the process. Or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I haven't seen after season 12, episode 12, so I don't know if he comes back. Please don't give me any spoilers because we're getting up to the point where I haven't seen the episodes, so it's going to be fun for all. He meant well, Marv to Amara. Spare the universe. Marv to Amara. Spare this. The darkness and ultimate toe curler to death for Metatron. She goes mentalist again. But the Impala is back at the bunker and Donatello says, "What happened? I thank God." Occasionally I do answer a prayer because he brought them back. Father and son still hate. He heals Lustiel, but yet God is a dick, not accountable again for everything he did. Just because he healed him then doesn't repair the fact that he did that to his son, and he continues to blacklist his son with his creations on Earth by saying that he was evil and he was the devil and not giving the full story, so he looked good and everybody else looked bad. That doesn't look bad at all, does it? Manipulating a universe, for fuck's sake. Hookers or a spaddy, as Donatello tries to work out all of this shit at once. Dean's surprised about Marv being selfless. We are all surprised. She wants me a part of her forever. As sexy as that sounds. In other words, adios. Another choice, but will Dean choose the life of humanity over his own life of Sam and everyone he ever cared about, saved or loved by him or him? Would you trust Amara? Do you think she would stay true to her word, unlike God, it seems? Will you ever find out why they were created or who created them? They couldn't have just randomly appeared. Why give them the power to become gods or be gods, creators and destroyers of worlds and creatures? Why do that? Which side are you on, Amara or Chuck? Who is for the good of all and who is the real enemy? Episode 22. This is again the second last episode of the season and it still doesn't feel like we're getting to the end. I felt like it in episode 10, which again has happened a few seasons ago as well, but the mid-season finale seems to have more fire than the rest of the finales. Recap then, just call me Chuck. Amara, show yourself. Death by the darkness. Chuck is a dick. Castiel and Lucifer in a bad way. Metacock finally does something for the greater good and dies failing. Now, the last two episodes, will this be a good ending? Will this be climactic? Will it be a cliffhanger? Why has it been so boring? Father and son, God and Lucifer chatting and trying to ask for forgiveness. Lustiel's not happy that Daddy is controlling him even now and making it all about how he was bad and he wasn't kind of thing. Go Amara, Lustiel to God. Lucifer has music playing and acting like a teenager, and he's locked himself in Dean's room. And he says that if it's his room and if God wants him, he'll need to come and get him and speak to him himself. And Dean's like, it's not your fucking room because it's Dean's room. Make hell great again. Really, Crowley? Does Donald Trump watch Supernatural? Because this was out way before he was actually president. Make hell great again. Holy shit. Family, well, that's a lot of drama, even for the first family in heaven. No different. Immature Lucifer wanting demands he cannot get and being shrunk by I feel statements. I feel. Yeah, that's what Dean keeps saying. We're going to do a lot of I feel moments. Nick goes, I feel like smacking you in the face for that suggestion, or I feel like I'm going to kick you in the balls because of that suggestion. Crowley wants to get back to hell and wants to get hell back on his God's side, and he has to help the boys and heaven for the. So basically, Crowley, even though he wants to be back to his reign, his king, his throne, he has to help the good for everyone. They all have to work together basically for the greater good. Because if the world is taken out, then the demons will have nowhere. They'll be nowhere, and they can't do what they do. Especially him when he's reaping souls, not reaping souls for deals and stuff. For him to continue on and for him to actually be there and the world not to be destroyed, he has to help God and has to be part of Team Winchester. They all do, including Rowena. They literally have to go and recruit basically people that you would never think would do things for the greater good. Technically, they do things for the greater good if it actually works for them and it's beneficial to them, they will help. If it's not, then they will not, and they will usually backstab you and do something that shows that I was never on your side. Listiel goes to heaven because he's trying to get the angels on their side, but again, the angels are starting up shop. They don't agree with what's going on. They don't think that they're going to be able to take out the darkness, and they are shutting up and closing everything down before the darkness comes and, well, dishes out our own law, very Judge Dredd style. They won't speak to Lucifer, but they'll speak to Castiel, even though he's like the worst of the two. I will turn you into an actual moose. That was Rowena, who Sam, and she's like, listen, giants. I absolutely love Rowena. Sorry, because that she is Scottish and her accent's brilliant, and she does say a lot of things that, I would say and that I'm used to hearing from other people. So that's actually really quite sentimental for me because she's in it. All for one against Amara after everything Chuck did and has done and will most likely do in the future. I say let them sort it out themselves. Crowley thinks the situation is like musical chairs. Sam was sent to basically round up Rowena and pretty much any power. So they actually create a oven. So they'll do the spell, but then they will like have backup to try and take it out as well. Is it really our problem? No. To be a king, maybe you need to be a soldier again, Dean to Crowley. To know what it feels to want something and to be part of something and to understand that his life and his everything is on the line too. So him becoming a soldier and understanding wrapping his head around things is not that uncommon. It could make him a better leader and end up. A chance to stroke your ego. Dean to Crowley, he loves a good stroke, don't we all? Whatever is good for the goose is good for the gander. Lustiel saying that to Dean. Dean is in love with Amara. Dean just wants I am not getting into this with him. as he's being a stirrer, Listiel, and pointing out that obviously that Sammy hasn't noticed how his brother acts around her. I tried to kill her and it didn't work. Chuck says maybe he didn't want her to die, but in fact for him to take her out because he couldn't. And that's what I spoke about before at the start. He went to kill her before she got smited, and it was like the knife was a part of him. He wanted to kill her, but he couldn't. And then the knife shatters because it's basically him, the power, the force that she has behind him type of thing. Lustiel, that got weird, you think? For once we have God on our side. It pans to all sides, witches, Crowley, Heaven asking them if they are still in, and Crowley says it's suicide, but seems to be enjoying that. You wee sick puppy. There's a reason why we love you so, this being one of them, being inappropriate. We love you, Crowley. Amara attacking the Prophet Donatello. You know where he is. I won't tell you. You won't have to. She puts her hands on each side of his face and she starts sucking out, obviously, his soul, his essence, and you see her actually doing it. It's like glowy. And then she says, Kansas. The bunker starts to shake. The symbols for protection on the walls glow, then disappear. So the protection that was once on there is not. The bunker is in Kansas, really. And they use the song Carry On My Wayward Son as their theme to unite the brothers by the band Kansas. Not a coincidence, another Easter egg perhaps. She's here. A mug says world's greatest dad and she kicks it over. Flirting with Rowena, Lucifer, then Crowley to mother. Flirting with Rowena, Lucifer, then. That's what Crowley says to his mother. Now the white light that surrounds God can be turned on and off. We see that Metacock, he chooses to be seen here. He did that with Metacock where he turned it on and off. And he says, hello, my children, to all sides of the battle. He is number one ego trip here. Rowena has just been told that Chuck, her real life partner, by the way, that she is one of his guilty pleasures. He says, oh God, and so does Crowley, as he cringes, pulling a face that says, oh God, no. Also, no flirting, no fighting, no deals, no talk of deals, nobody likes each other, etc. He is warded off her, but once that is down, she will find him. And that was the plan. They discussed the plan, taking the mark and stealing her away, not killing her. Sam has volunteered to get the mark. Dean cannot be, as he is tainted, because he had it and he doesn't, and he's also tied to her. The Darkside is arguing about the weakest. Dean says he ain't happy with the plan and doesn't like the fact he's a babysitter for demons. Amara is walking around the bunker and she sees a picture of Dean with his mother Mary as a little boy, and she seems to understand his loss, his love. Rowena is in Amara's head, but she also knows it's a trap, and they're trapping her. One self, not enough, but many witches. Now it tickled because she's tried to attack her with just her power, and then the witches get behind her, obviously in the coven. They start chanting, and it's a bigger, it's a bigger action from the witch's power to try and take her out. Points for trying, Amara says to Rowena. Her darkness that kept her from escaping is engulfing her, wasting some time. Crowley comes out and red smoke comes out of him, and she is thrown into a truck saying Kansas power. Now that Kansas Easter egg again. She looks a bit like Reagan from The Exorcist with all the cuts and shit all over her, because the damage is working, but it's obviously not taking her out completely. She's just getting hurt slightly. She says, hello, brother. You cheated again. Then she is stabbed right through with a spear, which was Lustiel, and God says, my son. Chuck says sorry, and she says she spent millions of years alone and scared for millions of years. What was my crime, brother? Chuck says sorry, and she says she spent millions of years alone and she was scared for all those years. But what was my crime, brother? The world needed to be born and you wouldn't let me. That was God. That's your story, not mine, Amara. She wasn't allowed to exist. You couldn't stand it. We were equals. We stood. I only. She wasn't allowed to exist. You couldn't stand it. We were equals. We stood only in relation to each other, Amara. You made archangels to make lesser beings, and all for ego. You wanted to be big alpha, like Alpha and Omega. I loved you, brother. Amara to God. You won again. Finish it. Kill me. But he cannot. He says, I'm sorry, and then it starts. Sam has the mark, and then it's being started again. Everyone is being taken out. Lustiel. Dean says, Amara, no. Amara says, brother, no. And Chuck is lifeless on the ground. He wanted to be killed or to kill him, not to be trapped or kept under lock and key, not to be forgotten, just done and gone, not to be controlled and manipulated by God again. God is dying, apparently. My brother will dim. and fade away into nothing. The true apocalypse, the world he created, everything he loves, turns to ash and will die. His ego, mankind, demons, everything. Welcome to the end. It was anticlimactic. We knew it was coming to an end. It's called Alpha and Omega, this episode, and this is the finale. This is what we find out, that they are Alpha and Omega without one the other. The good, light, dark, light, good versus evil. The original. He created Earth, but for the wrong reasons. And she was telling him he did it for the wrong reasons, but she was punished and manipulated, and she was put away because he didn't want to hear the justifications of his actions. And he again doesn't be accountable for his actions and the things that have happened to this day. Recap, we are now in finale territory once again. Episode 10 had more of a final run feel, 12 episodes of not feeling much of anything. The mid-season break feels more of an ending than this. Carry On My Wayward Son playing, and the preparation of the final of season 11 starting. Everything we knew up until now, all the cases, all the Dr. Phil moments, all the crappy, draggy story of this full season, all the storylines now coming to an end. We hope as this season will just made no sense. I would rather have filler and laughs than a story that made no sense. They open big major holes in the story and timelines and have left them wide open, and for what? The finale just felt pointless. So we are looking at the memories of season 11, Sully's Sam childhood friend, the imaginary one, Florrie's going rogue, payback, revenge, the road so far, Crowley as a priest, sexy, the darkness and her abandonment issues and dragging Dean into it, all the things they had to do to hear of all the trials of each existence to bring her to her knees, and all they've done is to take out the creator, and now the world and everything is dying, as is he also. Good versus evil working together still. Lucifer was ripped from Castiel. It seems he is weak. God feels like the bug on a windscreen apparently. There is no fixing what she has done to him. A dog's breakfast, Crowley talking about the plan that failed, like he knew it was going to fail anyway. Rowena takes everyone outside to show what is happening. The sun is dying. The sun is the source of everything on Earth. They said they need to get out of here, and then snaps, they are back in the bunker. He had enough energy to do that, but nothing else. What do we do now? Dean goes to the fridge and gets beer. That Sam says, really? Last call. Dean is saying they have no plan to fix the sun, and he is useless. They go snaps back to London, England, and it's a woman. It seems to be another part of the Men of Letters. She's just sitting, drinking from a Royal Downton tea set, which is my favourite one that my grandmother had with the flowers on it. It's one of those dreams of always having it. I never got it when she passed away, and I was really, really disappointed that they gave it to a charity shop rather than allow me to have something that was personal to her because it was a wedding present. So sorry to go off on a tangent there, but it's one of the tea sets that I will probably buy in the future. It's very, very pretty. She goes down to the basement to her board and the Winchesters are on it. And guess what? She's on her way to come take them out. Die sober. Dean when the beer runs out. Crowley tells Chuck Rowena is using him, and Crowley says, I'm not calling you Dad. He's trying to find the good whiskey. Rowena saying that Fergus, also known as Crowley, hated wearing pants and his wee banger flapping about in the breeze. What the actual fuck, that's weird. But she even does the action where we are pinky. Banger is penis, if people weren't aware. Also, banger is an insult. Another one for dickhead, basically. You call someone a wee banger. Also, the woman in England has a bag with the Men of Letters on it, the box, and a nice wee girl one. God's last time on Earth and all of the time, and he's finding out about the ex-King of Hell and how he liked to shirtcock it around the village. What the actual fuck? Adam and Eve are the same, apparently, when they were kids. And then he turns around and goes, kids. Samantha, Crowley to Sam, what are you doing? Sam to Chuck, Rowena and Crowley as they are drinking like Dean tea and whiskey. Chuck says it's all over. They are back at the bunker discussing how to destroy her, and Sam asks if she even can be. The darkness may have a weakness, light. He cannot create enough light. Those have the ability of 10,000 suns, so Rowena is going to make a bomb of ghosts, souls with baggage, as they call it. They go to a sanitarium that has, again, lots of souls that haven't moved on. They end up, Billy comes back in, she says, why are you here? Why are you in my fucking territory? Because she's obviously there to reap souls. She helps them and she goes into the veil and steals 100,000 souls. And Rowena does a spell. She says that it has to be Dean that does it, but he literally only has to move his fingers, his thumb and his index finger, and presses them together, and that will activate the bomb, and he will be no more, and neither will Amara. And what really annoyed me was the fact that she can sense when his thoughts are changed. So imagine how she can actually detect that he has something in him, like a bomb, to take her out. she's again a part of him. They are connected, so she would fucking know. So you think she would have created maybe some sort of veil to actually protect that, but she doesn't. But she knows he's there to actually kill her. He only has like an hour as well. It's like a short time. Apparently it's really painful when they actually put it into his body. Desperate and stupid, both Sam and Crowley say this, but they are going to collect the souls anyway, which I said. Amara again notices what her actions have done. And she's sitting on the bench in this really tranquil, beautiful place, and this old woman is feeding pigeons. And she's talking about, her life and how she feels like they're family. And she asks her why she does it and if she enjoys it. She finds out from the old woman that her son is trying to put her into a nursing home and wants to sell all her shit. And she says, and you hate him, but you love him. She's like, well, yeah, because he's my son. And she starts to this realization that her brother was maybe doing something he thought was right, but was the wrong way he did it. So she's starting to understand like connection, family, and all that. But again, I don't agree with what God did because technically he couldn't deal with her because she was not a yes person. I wouldn't agree with him. He fucking put her away so he could get on with it. And like she said, he wanted to be God. He wanted people to love him. He didn't give a fuck that his sister loved him more than anybody else would. And their connection as being Alpha and Omega together. So I can understand from both sides why they did what they did. Again, Dean tries to be Scottish while ripping the piss out of Rowena, and again, don't do the accent, it sucks. They're all working again as a team for the greater good, for all, as they don't, well, no one will be getting out of this alive, not demons, not magic, nothing. Go magic word. And they know God is dying, everybody knows. What are you waiting for, Dean? Dean is the only one who has the personal connection to her, so he is the plan. We could shove it. We could always shove it. The Winchester's the only hope, it seems, for all. Again, Dean is paying the ultimate sacrifice again, the ultimate price with his life. Selfless, brutal, and a little cathartic. Rowena's actually really kind when she actually describes what the bomb will do. When she actually does describe it to Dean, she's like being the mother because she is Crowley's mother at the end of the day. And she might hate the boys, but she knows that they are paying the ultimate price to save even her and everything. And it's like probably won't be remembered either. Castiel asks him how he is, and he says he's on fire. Again, they do a lot of reflection before he goes to actually meet Amara, and they go to the mother's grave and the father's grave, John and Mary, and they're just standing at Mary's grave, and Sam kisses his hand and then puts it on the gravestone. Chuck doesn't want to see Amara die, even though he caused all of this, and she wants him to take him out, or that's it, basically, or she's going to take him out. Dean tells Dean tells Castiel to watch over Sam, and he thanks him for everything. Talks about an epic funeral, but his ashes he wants to be beside Mary, his mother. And again, this had me really upset. I was like, because again, the mother is actually called Mary, and I was discussing this with a few people, and I knew what the ending was going to be like, but it was just a wee bit much to hear it right now. So, okay, let's do this. And the Impala, they wear this band of heroes and they go to a pub called The Last Shag and it's closed, but Crowley snaps his fingers and then they enter and he says, "You're round moose." Dean gives a speech of what he's giving up to become a part of her and she senses the power, but he has no choice. Your family, he doesn't want you dead. He doesn't want any of this. That's why he couldn't kill her, but I don't think he was as strong as her, but together impossible. He said revenge feels good when you get it, but then nothing, and how he needs Sam no matter what, because he is family. Dean calls her human, and how she doesn't want to be alone, which is true. She is sad, and no one understands their love, and what they've been through. But aside the rage, put aside the hate, tell me what you do want, Dean to Amara. The sun is because God is doing of what God has been doing and what He's done. The scales are tipping towards the darkness now because God is dying. She has brought Chuck to them, Amara has. In the beginning, you and me, family, I loved you, I knew you loved me. He agrees, then she got jealous because he made humans and Earth, and how he didn't need her, then he locked her away. And all she could think of was getting him back, revenge. But it hasn't made her happy, and that what you've made is beautiful. It took me a long time to realise and to see it, and they cannot go back to how things were, and she doesn't want to. I wish we could just be family again. He agrees to hold her hand, and then light between them, bringing them together, starts to appear. Dean has given them a therapy session, and now the sun has life again. They all look outside, and it's repairing itself. Chuck is away for a family meeting, but first he takes the soul bomb out of him, and Amara gifts him with the ultimate happy ending. No, not that. Amara and Chuck are going to go away for a bit, apparently. to repair, obviously, what has happened. Amara says, Dean, you gave me what I needed most. I want to do the same for you. And as they disappear in the light and dark smoke and leave together, Alpha and Omega, light and dark, the sun is setting again. He did it, they all say, and Sam looks sad and constipated again. The English woman, she was been watching him, the many letters, the old men have decided enough is enough, and he has to go with her, but she wants the brothers. You and I know you're not going to pull that trigger, and then she does. Dean is in the dark and he hears someone saying, help me, and there she is, his mother Mary in a nightgown, he says. He says mom and the end. The ending, again, is not a good time for me, like I just said, personally, and yet I have seen this and it still hits hard. The last time I rewatched Supernatural, I wasn't mourning my own mother. But hey, it was a kick to the feels, this show, and it does whether you want it to or not. I'm happy this season is finally over and we can start afresh. We are getting to the episodes I haven't seen, and soon as we slide over to season 12, and then I am blind by the stories, the plots, the supernatural world. Let's see what season 12 holds, and let's see if the holes get filled. Yes, I said that. The journey continues, and what will happen now? Carry on. What did you think of season 11? And who was your favourite character this season? Who made this season what it is? And who saved this season? Was it savable? Let me know in the comments below. That was season 11 of Supernatural, and what were your overall thoughts? I am Darcy Darkness. This is Confessions from the Front Seat of the Impala. This is Confessions from the Dark Side. See you next month, where I'll break down, discuss season 12. Join me. Can't wait to see you then. If you enjoy content like this, remember you can go, if you like content like this, go check out Confessions to the Dark Side social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify, and Buzzsprout. Let us know what you think over on our social medias, and get chatting about this topic, all the topics. Let's grow our community and spread how awesome the horror community actually is. If you want to get to know us as individuals, then you can check us out at the links below. I am Darcy Darkness. My channel is Behind the Mash Reviews. I have a YouTube, an Instagram, and a Twitch, and thank you for everyone who has helped me to become affiliated, because I am now an affiliated Twitch streamer. Woo! Lunar has a YouTube, a Twitch, and an Instagram, and his channel is Lunar X Rising. If you need to reach out to us at any point, Confessions of the Dark Side at gmail.com. Darcy is Behind the Mash Reviews at gmail.com, and Lunar is Lunar X Rising at gmail.com. And as I said, I am Darcy Darkness. This is Confessions from the Dark Side, and that was Confessions from the Front Seat of the Impala season 11. I'll see you in the next one. Later.